what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. I guess it's Tuesday night. That means it's the Radio Baloney Live Tuesday night. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Dramas, Trudeau Survivor, how you guys doing? Good to see you. Well, let us quickly go through the menu. Then we'll go back to the chat, and then we'll get into the stories in earnest. First off, get some UFO stuff. Why not? There's lots going on with that, and it's fun. Then we're going to go to... and we've got Matt Taibbi here, and he's an excellent journalist, actually a lefty who was kicked out of the left for having principles. He's talking about the Dems' call for to disobey Trump. He says that it reminds him of the beginning of Russiagate. Very interesting. This is why he's not allowed in the left anymore, because he tells the truth too often. Here we have, this is related. She's talking about the White House spokesperson here is talking about Mark Kelly. He's part of that kind of, I guess, gang of Democrats that are telling the military, military personnel to disobey orders, which is pretty crazy. Let's see what else we got here. We got some Doge stuff here from Burchett. This is interesting. We'll take a look at this. Because Doge is still going, by the way. It's still going. I think that the left wants you to think it's gone, but it's not gone. We are going to talk about Mark Carney and his who cares comment. His who cares comment when asked if he had talked to Trump recently. And he said, who cares? It's a detail. It's interesting how it went from... the greatest crisis of our time, existential crisis, our relationship's never going to be the same again, to who cares, it's a detail. Weird. See, that happened after he proved himself to be totally incapable of actually negotiating. So, and then we've got, of course, Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the official opposition, responding to this. We're going to go to the UK police state, as it's called. Well, as I call it, and now they want to get rid of jury trials, except in, the harshest of cases. This is, obviously, this can be used to further just arbitrarily apply law along political grounds. It's just getting worse over there. We have something on the Canada land claims front, which has gotten completely insane. But one BC leader, Dallas Brody, says she will publish a list of properties owned by MLAs. Well, the thing is, it's 95% of the province anyway. It's basically everybody whose property is in jeopardy from this absolute lunacy. Of course, Canada crime. You can't do a live stream without talking about the explosion of crime in Canada, obviously. Here you've got some gender weighing and just another lunatic who is determined to try and harm as many children as possible. It's fairly insane. World Economic Forum. Of course, we got a bit on that. We love to talk about the World Economic Forum because they're so evil. Let's see. World's Strongest Woman winner. I almost said World's Strongest Woman Wiener, but that actually would have been kind of appropriate. World's Strongest Woman winner, stripped of title after organizers find out he's a man. So it was a woman wiener after all. We'll take a look at that. Kind of crazy. Let's see. BC Teachers Federation. Yeah, it's just every institution in Canada is completely woke out of its minds at this point. We're going to take a look at that. Canadian immigration, of course, that's not going well. We'll take a look at that. Then we've got a bunch of stuff that you guys have sent in and a few other things I've collected, things that you guys wanted to see. So we're going to take a look at that. This is the lighter side. Mostly it's the lighter side of life and palate cleansers. So we'll be taking a look at that at the end of the stream. And very quickly for those on Rumble, don't worry about this, but just for YouTube, I've split my YouTube content into two channels. There is a new channel now, Radio Baloney News. That's where all of the US news and the world news, like the UK and as you can see down here, meme reviews, woke parenting, woke mind virus stuff is going to be on here. Trump to strike cartels, woke medicine, Joe Rogan there. All that stuff is going to be on this new channel, Radio Baloney News. It is the featured channel on the homepage of this channel you're watching right now, the original Radio Baloney channel, which is now just for live streams and Canadian news. All right, let's get to the chat. So, as everybody knows, we're streaming right now on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals. Now, everybody who likes the stream, or of course, subscribes to the channel, obviously, but everybody who likes the stream gets a free discrete unit of good karma for me, because I build up this reservoir of good karma while I'm preparing the streams. And if I kept it, that would be good karma. I've got no choice. I've got to give it away. And who am I going to give it away to? Well, you're right here. So if you like the stream, you will get good karma. But if you're one of the first people that do it, they get extra good karma. So it's really worth it in these troubled times. Let's see. Dramus got number one like over on Rumble there. Well, tonight that's a quadruple good karma. Quadruple. That's four. Trudeau Survivor got the second one. Well, that's going to be 3 for you, Trudeau Survivor. And after surviving a decade of Trudeau, I mean, he deserves it. Let's be honest here. Let's see. Rosie, how you doing? Izzy got number 3. So that's a double good karma. Let's see. Rosie, it looks like, well, Rosie's saying she thought she was 3. So, but 4 would be 1 in that. 1.75 good karmas. That's my math. Let's see. Spambot, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Spambot's listening from the car, so we'll try not to distract him, okay? We hope he gets home safe, especially because they got a bunch of snow out in Alberta there. Let's see. Izzy says probably, well, somebody got double and somebody got 1.75. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. All right. So what are you guys talking about? Let's see. It's a Tuesday. You know what that means? You know what Tuesday means? Because I'm a little bit, I don't have the normal energy I would normally bring to a stream. I don't know if anybody else out there is a little bit tired right now. No idea. I don't know. I'm feeling a little tired. I mean, listen, I had a couple cups of coffee, then I had a couple of espressos, double espressos. Then I smoked a bunch of crack, and then I had a bunch of that blue meth from Breaking Bad. And then I ate like 7 polar bear adrenaline glands. Still nothing. I don't know what I could do. I don't know where I could go. Who could I ask? Who could I ask for more energy? Where can I get it? I have no idea. I mean, I guess we're just going to be...
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
All right. Now I'm ready to go. I still don't think, I don't think they're sending their best representatives. I really don't. I think they could do better for a better representative for the they them energy. I can't help but think so. Now I have to show a picture of chocolate to Rosie, because that's in our. See, here's the thing. Half the people think they them energy is hilarious, like I do, and then half the people hate it. Like, it really bothers them a lot, and it makes them uncomfortable and unhappy. So we had a negotiation, hard, tough negotiations, and we came to an agreement where I can show they them energy on Tuesdays, because I find it funny. I find it hilarious. But a lot of people don't, as I said. So if I do that, then it's okay, but I can only do it on Tuesdays, and then I have to show some chocolate thing for Rosie. So, all right, let's do it. Here we go. A box of chocolates. So, I mean, that does look pretty good, I got to be honest. That looks delicious. Delicious. That looks even better than they them energy. Although, when you look at it a little bit closer, actually, like, what are those kind of blob things? It's almost like those chocolates have like plague or some sort of skin disease or something. Ugh, that's gross. Oh, well, I showed the chocolate. All right. Now, what are we doing? Now what to do? I guess we're doing some more chat before we get into the stories. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says Carney will care when Alberta has its referendum. I'm not sure that Carney cares about anything, to be honest. Like I'm more and more convinced at this point that he's a slimy, greedy guy, and he just came in to make money, to promote his net zero, to push it at the expense of all Canadians and their children and their grandchildren, and make a shitload of money for himself, to just give like a turbo boost, the kind of turbo boost only like an entire actual like first world nation, or what used to be a first world nation, can give to projects, to companies that rely on subsidies. So that's what he's emptying the coffers for. So I think I think he's a globalist through and through. I don't think he has any kind of real national identity himself. He's got like 4 passports, or he had 4 passports before he ran for prime minister. I'm sure he'll have them back once he leaves again. I don't think he has any patriotism or anything like that. I think that, this was part of a plan. And he sees Canada as a resource to further his goals. He's going to come in, he's going to extract as much as possible, and then leave a much wealthier man with a lot of very, very wealthy people owing him a lot of favors. So I don't think he could care less if Alberta stays in Canada. I don't think he cares about Canada. He's probably the one who told Trudeau to start saying Canada was a post-national country with no core identity that's engaged in infinite genocides. So yeah, I really don't think he could care less. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, PM, who cares? Yeah, we're going to get to that. For anybody that doesn't know, Mark Carney was asked about when's the last time he talked to Trump, and he says, dismissively, just went, who cares? Who cares? That's a detail. Really? Because like 5 minutes ago, it was an existential threat. But all right. But we're going to get to that. Don't you worry. Let's see. Izzy said, sure hope there's going to be some chocolate photos. Could use some energy. All right. I was way ahead of the game on that one. Rosie says, I may have said this before. My grandmother's urologist was named Dr. Wiener. LOL. LOL indeed. LOL indeed. Dr. Wiener. Let's see. Maybe that should be a new rule. If you're going to be a man entering into any kind of woman's competition, you should have to change your last name to Wiener. Let's see. I mean, that'd be, for one thing, everybody know what was going on, right? Let's see. A female wiener. As he says, a female wiener. Let's see. Rosie says, Richie, thank you for the parenting class. I believe this is in regards to the story that we covered in the last stream about the Australian researchers, like early childhood researchers, who believe that really parents need to be asking consent of their babies when they change their diapers. Anyway, I now know what I did was wrong. I did not ever ask permission to change diapers. It's consent. They turned out great in spite of me. They must be strong, resilient children to have overcome that. To have overcome being violated by you, changing their diapers when they were babies. Here's the thing. Commies see everything as oppressed or oppressor. So every person is either an oppressor or oppressed, right? So they're incapable of ever seeing anything as a positive sum game. Like both sides get something out of it, right? Like, so in any interaction, any transaction between people, they're incapable of seeing that as something positive for both sides. There must be a winner and a loser. So, and whoever has the more power, money, whatever, is the oppressor always. And whoever doesn't have that is the oppressed always. So when they look at parenting, well, who has the power? The parents. Who doesn't have the power? the babies that literally can't do anything and have no idea what's going on. So they must be the oppressed. That's why you end up with this lunacy, right? So automatically, the parent is the oppressor. So therefore, they must be doing something wrong. And here's one thing: they're not getting consent when they change the baby's diaper. I mean, really, both sides get something out of this, you know? Like, you get to have a healthy baby, right? The baby gets to be healthy. This is good for both sides. That's a positive sum game. Anyway, it's the oppressed oppressor narrative that is why you get so many, just so many insane takes from the left. Let's see. Trudeau's survivor says Rosie's punishment for making fun of Radio Baloney's cushion disability. That's why I played the They Them Energy. But it is a Tuesday as well, so we're allowed to do it on Tuesdays. Let's see. Rosie says, say hello to Mickey. Has a hard time seeing the chat. So hello, Mickey, from everybody at Radio Baloney. We're wishing you the best. Let's see. What else we got going on? I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm going to keep going. Talking about snow. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, I find it amusing the insane amount of car crashes that happen on the first day of snow in Canada. You know, it's a weird thing because, like, in Calgary, right? Like, they know the snow is coming. They drive in the snow and ice every single year. But every time the first snow, there's like there were like 300 crashes in Calgary when they had the big dump of snow. And it's like, I still find it weird, right? I mean, they do drive like lunatics. That's true. But like, you do it every year. So maybe it's because of like all the people that have been moving to Alberta over the last decade, really. And they just keep, they're getting a big influx every year. Maybe it's those people. All right. Let's just get to it, shall we? All right. What are we talking about? I'll tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about UFOs. I don't know how I feel about them. I got to be honest with you. I don't know how I feel about the UFOs. I mean, maybe they're real, maybe they're not. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're super real and we've been getting visited for thousands of years. And like, I don't know, they're like got invisibility suits or they're different dimension or something. And they're like, maybe there's one hanging out right now in my house. I don't know. But I would also not be surprised if there's like nothing, like the rest of the universe is just totally and utterly barren. That also wouldn't surprise me. So I don't know. But let's take a look. From Skywatch Signal, David Grush went on Fox News and removed every excuse anyone had left. David Grush dropped the kind of statements that should make the entire country stop in its tracks. He discusses everything from crash retrievals to bodies, no holds barred. Well, let's find out who this guy is first. All right, so hold on. We're going to do one of these. Fact check. All right. So David Grush is a former U.S. Air Force intelligence officer and a whistleblower who claims the government has been concealing a long-term program involving retrieved non-human spacecraft and biologics. After serving in intelligence roles, including at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office, he reported these allegations to Congress and the Inspector General, leading to congressional hearings on UAPs, that's unidentified anomalous phenomena. What was wrong with UFOs? What was wrong with it? We got to change everything. Let's see. He served in the Air Force, and as a senior civilian intelligence official, he held positions such as representative for the NRO UAP Task Force and co-lead for UAP analysis at the NGA. He alleges U.S. government has been in possession of crashed non-human spacecraft for decades and that this information has been concealed from Congress. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? That's the thing. It would be. It would be super secret, and of course it would be concealed. Like, you don't want, like, if you've got like basically future tech from a civilization that's far more advanced than we are, if it can get here, right? Especially it's not just machines, like they're saying biologics, right? If you can get a biological creature here from like, Alpha Centauri, like the nearest star, you're way ahead. You're like 1,000 years ahead of humans. So if a government has that, they're not going to want to share it because that's probably like the key to ruling the world forever. He claims that non-human biologics have been recovered from these crash sites. So he became a whistleblower in 2022 after reporting the information he gathered from interviews with over 40 individuals and first-hand knowledge of these alleged secret programs. He has stated that he has faced retaliation for coming forward. All right. So there we have who he is. Let's take a look at what he says here. So, I mean, this is not just a kook, right, who climbed out of the woodwork. Not just, I mean, he has credentials, and I'm not saying that what he's saying is true, but I'm saying that he's not just a random guy who was like walking through the woods and saw light in the sky. Let's take a look.
Well, certainly the last administration didn't help, and my hearing, of course, was during the last administration, and they were not exactly super transparent on this issue, unfortunately. But now that the task force has been created, I've been able to, guide the members within the boundaries of what they're actually cleared for.
When people look at this, they look online, they say, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of people talking about encounters. There's a lot of people talking about videos, and we've seen a lot of that. Can we just cut it down to, you believe that we have encountered alien beings and that they've come to Earth and that we know about it as a U.S. government?
That seems to be the case. I don't like to characterize necessarily where they came from. They're definitely some kind of non-human sentience, but it is true, believe it or not, we've recovered the vehicles, and we actually have physical proof. And I was actually partially cleared into some of those activities. It was beyond oral testimony provided to me. I actually had partial access to the data and actually read the intelligence reports resulting from those programs.
Like,
and
with your own eyes,
Correct.
You saw it.
Yes.
And so when people say this is kooky, this is...
Now, to be clear here, he's saying just like documents, data. He's not talking about like being in the room with alien tech or an alien, right? So that's what I'm taking from this.
Out there, there's nothing to back it up.
I don't speak for other parts of the government, but I can tell you NASA, which I speak for, is open and transparent with our data.
Do you believe what Mr. David Grush said, or is he lying?
Whatever he said, where's the evidence?
What do you say?
Certainly members of this current administration are very, very well aware of this reality. Certainly the current president is very knowledgeable on this subject, and I trust his leadership on it. And I think he's assembled an A-team cabinet, and I really believe if Trump wants to be the greatest president and the most consequential leader likely in world history, he certainly has the knowledge, the capabilities, and understanding of some of these sensitive government transparency issues.
I have access, and I speak to people about it. I've had actually meetings on it. People that are very smart and very solid have said they believe there is something out there. And, it makes sense that there could be. I've never been convinced, even despite that. I just, for some reason, it's not my thing.
So you think, one, he knows, and two, he's open to transparency on UAPs?
He certainly is very well informed on this issue. Leave it at that. I don't want to get ahead of what the president might want to reveal personally.
There's been a role to cover this up, you're saying, through administrations. And there have been people who have been threatened and told not to testify?
I was physically threatened even before I sent in my intelligence community inspector general report under the previous administration. I actually had to go and seek legal protection that way because I was, literally in fear both professionally and in my personal life.
And when you mentioned in that testimony of recovering the pilots or remains non-human, that's something that you saw as far as the intelligence with your eyes?
Yes. And it is a very uncomfortable, even for me now, as somebody who's seen it, experienced it, even talking about it, because it's so outside a normal person's worldview to understand that there is this biological sentience that have piloted these crafts that don't necessarily look 100% like you and I.
Were there pictures? Were there?
There were. Yes, there were.
When I said from another planet or from outer space, you said we don't know where they're from. Is it interdimensional? What are we talking about?
I've talked to a lot of, I'll call graybeards on the program. That is a subject of hot debate on origin. As a guy trained in physics formally as well in my background, I leave an open mind on what the origin is. Certainly, there is the extraterrestrial hypothesis, and they could be coming from elsewhere off Earth, but I don't usually go there because I did not see that data, and I'm not conversant in the high confidence theories that the U.S. government had.
I'm not aware of any remains that the department has of any signs of extraterrestrial beings or activity or technology.
You say the U.S. government knows, but there are many other governments around the world. Do they know?
They have their own programs, and like I said 2.5 years ago, we have been in arms race with our peer competitors, namely Russia and China, and they have their own programs in this regard. And I was actually able to view a body of intelligence that discussed adversarial programs, and I'll leave it at that.
We've recovered things, you say, bodies and physical remains. Was there a sense that the motive of how they got here, what they were doing, was it peaceful, not peaceful?
We've seen a mixed bag of activity, and motive and intent, why they're visiting. That's, once again, that gets into our assessments, not necessarily, we can't quite understand the intent of some of the sentience and why they're visiting. Could it be because we have interesting genetic material on Earth? We're a Jurassic Park tourist attraction for.
Well, I don't know. I heard one of them just entered a women's weightlifting competition. So there's that's happening. Thing is, maybe if what he is saying is true, I wouldn't be surprised. If all of it is just made up, I wouldn't be surprised either. Just don't know. The problem we always get to is that in this account here, there isn't actually any evidence. This is just his word. So we don't know. We don't know what's in his mind. There are people that seem normal and they're actually kind of bonkers, or they just have a crazy sense of humor. You don't know, right? Is it interesting? Is it? I would say because of his, his experience within government. I would lend it more credence than just a random person, right? Again, somebody who was just walking through the woods and saw light in the sky. But you don't know. You just don't know. You don't know if this is some psyop to distract the population, right? He's being real. He's being honest with his experience, but the underlying thing is just a psyop to distract people, or to distract, or to send foreign countries' intelligence services off on wild goose chases and to waste their time and their resources. So none of that would surprise me either. So my point is, I do not know. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying about it? I know you guys are saying something about it. Izzy says they see no intelligent life here. Let's see. Trudeau Driver says, are they back to calling them UFOs again? What was the UAP rebranding about? I don't know. No, they're still on the UAP thing. Let's see. Rosie says, I wondered the same. I was told a couple of times the change was for more accuracy since any flying thing one does not recognize as a UFO. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Rosie says they are visiting to find Trudeau survivor. That is why he wants to keep hiding. Probably. Trudeau survivor is the key to everything. That's a movie right there. That's a movie plot. Something to do with him wanting to take over Greenland, I would say. All right. That's an inside joke for the longtime viewers. All right. So, yeah, let's move on from that. So what do we got going on here? So here's Matt Taibbi. So we're going to be doing some U.S. news and stuff, and then we're going to go to the Canadian news afterwards. Jason Cohen posted this. So you have the Democrats now, that kind of cabal of Democrats that made their video about telling service members to disobey orders that they say are illegal, but aren't. Right? So here's the game from the Democrats, right? So just anything Trump does, they say is illegal. And then it goes to the courts. It goes to a judge. The judge overturns whatever Trump wants to do. It goes to an upper court, and then the upper court overturns that. And this is what they call dictatorship, I guess. And but this is the game. They just label literally everything. Like, he has breakfast. That's illegal. That's an illegal breakfast, right? So this is the game they're playing. And now they're telling service members, people in the Army, to not obey orders because vaguely they might be illegal or something if Democrats say so. It's quite dangerous, actually. And it's very bullshit. It's very Bolshevik, extremely Bolshevik. Hold on a second. And that's the game. I mean, it's so much of what's happening now reminds me of, the run up to the Russian Revolution. Let's hear from Matt Taibbi here, who used to be a darling of the left. He wrote the book Insane Clown President about Trump. And yeah, I mean, he wrote for the Rolling Stone. He was a darling of the left. And then he just started noticing that the media was lying about it. The mainstream media was lying about a bunch of stuff, like Russiagate, for instance. And then he was kicked out. And now he's on Substack because you're not allowed to be. Well, he's a heretic now, as far as the left is concerned. He might as well be, go Bulls. Let's watch.
It's such blatant, bad, overwrought propaganda. And this whole idea of you can refuse to obey illegal orders. Well, that's always been true. And we've had a gazillion illegalities in government that the Democrats didn't say a word about for decades. So why now? And also just this general notion of encouraging an uprising, essentially, I don't know. I mean, there are so many things about modern politics that just make you shake your head and say, we're just in this new territory. I don't even know how to think about it, honestly. Like, that's beyond insubordinate or unhelpful. It reminds me again of the beginning of Russiagate, right? There were all these leaks about encouraging people not to share intelligence with the United States. That made Trump look bad, but it also made the United States look weak and vulnerable, and sent a signal that the country was in schism and maybe the government was not stable. Is that what they're trying to project? I mean, is that right? I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, it's all the time on this channel. I say when I'm looking at news, I think that I must be in an alternate universe. Things have changed. We're in a different paradigm now, right? So now you've got truly insane things like these Democrats basically calling for insurrection. It's total madness. You had Joe Biden facilitating the invasion of the United States by anywhere from 12 to 20 million people illegally, going so far as to fly people in, getting an app so they could fly people in, and preventing border states from stopping people from going into the United States illegally. That's something I thought I'd never see. I mean, that just seems so far. They just seem fantastical. Like, how could that be real? In Canada, Canada is just like some dystopian novel from the future. Just everything Canada at this point. So, so yeah, it's we're in very, very strange territory at this point, and the left has gone completely mad. Completely mad. Just all the brakes are off. It's just plunge forward towards the Bolshevik revolution as quickly as possible. Well, it's not even that. It's just plunge forward towards Chinese style totalitarianism. I think that's really the goal at this point. And yeah, it's crazy. And the craziest thing about it is that the mainstream media seems to be unaware of the kind of, like, all those people reading off the teleprompters seem to be unaware of the fact that things will be really bad for them too, right? If we end up in the, Chinese-style totalitarian state. It's very weird. And here is here's the White House press secretary talking about Senator Mark Kelly, who was in that video. Let's take a look.
The White House is supportive of the Department of War's investigation into Senator Mark Kelly, and I think what Senator Mark Kelly was actually trying to do was intimidate the 1.3 million active duty service members who are currently serving in our United States Armed Forces with that video that he and his Democrat colleagues put out. Senator Mark Kelly well knows the rules of the military and the respect that one must have for the chain of command, and that all lawful orders are presumed to be legal by our service members. You can't have a functioning military if there is disorder and chaos within the ranks, and that's what these Democrat members were encouraging. It's very clear. And not a single one of them, since they've been pressed by the media, and I'll give you guys credit for that, can point to a single illegal order that this administration has given down, because it does not exist. They knew what they were doing in this video, and Senator Mark Kelly and all of them should be held accountable for that. The White House is supportive of the...
Oh, so radical leftists are lying? Crazy. Let's see. I Love America News says Mark Kelly is a disgrace to the uniform. Let's see. Well, there he is as Trump took my precious. Let's find the video. I've got the video. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Where is it? I think it's in here. Hold on. I thought I had it. All right. Maybe it's in here. Hold on. No. All right. I'm going to look for it. Sorry, guys. This happens all the time. This happens all the time on this channel. I don't have the thing that I wanted. Okay. But we should be able to find it really quickly. All right. 1 second. All right, hold on. Where is the video? Can somebody put it in the chat, the link to the video? It's the 6 Democrats. It's the 6 Democrats. The little video they put out. Why isn't it showing it to me now? Let me try this. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it. So this is the video that we're talking about. And let's see.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know.
So, as has already been as has already been pointed out, they can't point out any actual illegal orders, right? So Trump tries to do something. It's challenged by the Democrats. It goes to court. It goes to a judge. The lower court judge usually overturns it. Then it goes up to the next level. Then that gets overturned. And that's just the way it really, like, that's all legal there, right? So none of them can point out any actual illegal orders, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is the framing. Right? Everything now is just narrative and framing. So they're just getting that into they're reinforcing that into people's heads, the lies they've already been telling for a decade. Right? Illegal orders, dictator, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. It's just framing. It's the drip, 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 constant drip, drip, drip of framing. And that's why so many people, not just in the United States, around the world, because the media is the same in every Western country. It's exactly the same, and it's like they're all reading off the same teleprompter. Okay, it's why people are so deranged about Trump. It's the constant framing. It doesn't have to be true. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be. It just has to be said enough times. If you tell the lie enough times, it becomes the truth. And that's the case for many, many people, unfortunately. But it is dangerous, and it is something new. You know, as Matt Taibbi is saying here, I mean, you know, he's been working as a journalist. He's been writing about politics for a very long time. He's saying there's something different here. There's something different going on. And it's like the gloves are off from the left, I'm going to say it. Everybody get your drink ready. From the Bolsheviks, the neo-Bolsheviks. And read about the Russian Revolution. You know, the Bolsheviks infiltrated the military very successfully and very successfully managed to poison it ideologically to disastrous results for Russia. That's what they seek to do. But you have to remember, they don't care if they destroy the whole country in their quest for power. They do not care. Right? And we're in the age of the unthinkable. Because keep in mind, these are the same people that apparently their hobbies are apparently oh, God damn it. All right. Like their favorite thing in the world is to chemically castrate children. Right? So like the world is crazy. The world is absolutely insane. When you have things like that, the world is crazy. And really at that point, nothing should, when you've got when castrating children is seen as a virtue, as one of the most virtuous things you can do, actually. You're in, Aztec territory there. You're in, throwing children into wells, into cenotes to please the rain gods. I don't see much difference, actually. All right. What are you guys talking about? Let's go to the pottery show for a second. Let's see. JJ Nevada got lucky number 7 on the like button. So that's 7 would be like 1.07 Good karmas. Still better than nothing. Let's see. JJ Nevada makes a really great point here. He says simply, stinking commies. Stinking commies. Let's see. Rosie says, what is this about illegal breakfast? I might want illegal breakfast. Is that like chocolate cake for breakfast? No, it's crack. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, Matt Taibbi is the male version of Whitney Webb. They should have a baby. Has anybody told them that? Nevada makes a really important point here. He says, stinking rotten commies, stinking rotten commies. JJ Nevada is caterwauling in the chat about noodles. No, sir. No, sir. Not yet. Maybe later in the stream. Let's see. Canuck Six Stringer says, how you doing? They didn't say don't follow orders. They said don't follow unlawful orders. Don't follow illegal orders. Yes. So that's the game, though, right? So they just say that everything he does is illegal. So they know that they can't point to one actual illegal order. But so why are they making the video? Well, because they're framing. It's all about framing, right? So it's just illegal is what they say is illegal, not what's actually illegal. That's the point of what they're doing. Let's see. Nevada says that can put doubt into minds. Not good. Exactly. That is what they're doing. This is straight out of the. Are you ready? Ready, people? You got your drinks ready? This is straight out of the. I'm telling you, straight out of the Bolshevik playbook.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Norm's right. Now listen to Jackie Gleason.
And that's nothing but pure and simple old-fashioned communism.
Exactly. Nevada says supposed to follow orders, not think about them. Let's see. Hesitation can be fatal. Yeah. All right. Now what the hell are we doing? Are we doing some crazy ad read? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Let's see. Well, we got to do the crypto. The crypto pays me the big money, and I love them. I love the crypto ads, beautiful ads, the most beautiful ads. Are you ready? Let's be clear. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And this latest move cements that reality in the biggest way yet. Trump Media Group just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Crypto.com, the world's top crypto platform. Oh yeah, they're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cashback on your spends to launch America's first CRO treasury. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest CRO holder out there. Want in on the action? Head to Crypto.com. That's Crypto.com today and grab some CRO. Let's make crypto great again. Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. I've been waiting for that since Friday. Beautiful ad, beautifully written. It's like poetry. It's like beautiful poetry. It's helpful. It's the truth. You know, that's the thing about life. That's the thing about that. The truth will set you free, my friends. You should treasure nothing more than you treasure truth. Anything else is just deception and you're deceiving yourself, unlike Crypto.com. All right. Now what are we doing? So we did that crazy stuff. What else is in here? What else we got here? What's this? No, we already did that before. Did we have anything else in the Trump folder here? No, we did that. All right, let's move on. Doge. So somebody sent this to me. I can't remember who. Tim Burchett. He's pretty good. I like Tim Burchett. Doubles down live. Joe Biden's team was getting rich off selling pardons. Well, he doesn't just talk about that in this, but this is from a Johnny Midnight. He's talking as well about, he's also talking about USAID in this and how it was a scam just to basically launder money back to the Democrats in the United States. Let's take a peek.
Almost 1,000 NGOs, non-government organizations working out of Afghanistan. I had Marco Rubio in committee, and I asked him, we're giving the Taliban 40 million. This is just an example. 40 million a week. 2 years I've been working on this. I got a freaking memo from the dadgum State Department, and they're no friends of mine. They're no friends of this country. That's the deep state, there ever was one. They have, they've told us that we've given them close to $5 billion, and we're still doing it because it goes to the NGOs. The Democrats fought that amendment that we added NGOs into the bill. Why? Because there's 1,000 NGOs, and you know good and well that money's coming right back to Washington. That's what Elon told us. The paper trail runs right back. Now, can I find it? No, I don't have access to those kind of computers, but that's why they're squealing. They're squealing about it.
So squealing about USAID cuts, you're saying that our suspicions are confirmed.
And that's just another reason why they hate Elon Musk so much, because he caught them with their hand in the cookie jar.
That the money that's spent at USAID goes right back into Democrat campaign coffers.
Almost 100%. Almost 100%. There's still some Republicans, I think, if they are. You know, that's why leadership, they sent somebody to see me. They sent my buddy, and he sits beside me. Tim, man, some of the chairman, they're kind of upset what you said, and, go through all this stuff. And I said, but it's the truth, right? He goes, well, yeah, we know it's the truth, but you just can't keep saying it. And I keep saying it. So that's why I always tell people I'm not suicidal.
You made a lot of news on our show saying that you believe that there could have been some real payola with some of these Biden
Have
pardons.
to be 8,000 pardons. I said 2,000, and it's come out. Somebody said something about 8,000 freaking pardons. You think Joe couldn't remember what he'd had for breakfast? He couldn't remember where the dadgum bathroom was. And he
8,000. What do they have, like 50 auto pens? Do they have to keep repairing the auto pen? Because Biden only signed one of them for Hunter. Yikes.
He reviewed 8,000 files on pardons. Give me a freaking break. This is so shady, and it's just Washington, D.C. It happens every day. That's the thing. It happens all the time. But with Trump in there, we're focusing on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And every department is suspect. And, you just can't get past it.
I want to do a fact check on what is the typical number of pardons per president, because I don't know that. Let's maybe 8,000 is totally normal. I don't know. Let's take a look.
Fact check.
Okay, 1 second. We'll go to Grok. Grok is pretty good for this kind of stuff. Hold on. How many pardons has each of the last, let's say, 6 presidents signed? Let's just do that. All right. Pardons issued by last 6 U.S. presidents. Let's see. Well, Grok is wrong about this. It's saying Biden 80. So it's 8,000. Trump 1,644. Obama 1,927. George Bush 200. Bill Clinton 459. George H.W. Bush 77. Are you sure about these numbers? Did Biden really sign 8,000? Let's take a look. Let's see what it does. Grok has gotten way faster, by the way, which is great. Let's see. Thanks for the follow-up. It's a fair question, as clemency numbers, which include pardons, commutations, remissions, are often conflated in headlines, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. What have they come up with? Still saying 80. So that's just wrong. So you can't really count on it all the time, can you? He's saying, Burchett's saying 8,000, and I believe him. So, all right, well, I guess we could just have to throw this out. Maybe we'll try the Google. Well, hold on a second. Let's see. How many pardons did Biden sign? Let's see. Okay, we're getting different numbers here. So here we've got George Bush 200, Barack Obama 1927, Donald Trump 1700. So I think about the same for those, but Joe Biden in this one has got 4,245. So even at this number, it's still it's more than double anybody else. So, yeah, it's definitely not 80. So Grok is wrong about that. AI is not perfect yet. That's for sure. It definitely got that wrong. Okay. Where were we? Okay. So let's get back to it. Do we have anything else in here that I wanted to see? No, that's just old stuff. All right, let's get back to the chat for a second. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Drama says because it was not Biden, it was the auto pen. But Biden only actually signed one, is my understanding of it. So I don't know. Let's try again. Let's ask Grok if it was auto pen. Okay. And how many pardons, commutations, etc. did Biden authorize, including by auto pen? Okay, let's check this one out. All right, what's it gonna say? AT, it's saying pardons 80. Oh, commutations 4,165. And then also, so they're saying 4,245, which would still be double the nearest one. Yeah. So, all right. So we've got some clarity there. So it's a lot. Now, obviously Biden didn't sign 4,000 of anything, right? I'm sure signing just Hunter Biden's personally was enough for him. That probably gave him a stroke, just that. But yeah. So anyway, we have some clarity there. See, we seek the truth here. We want to know the truth. All right. Yeah, let's get back to the chat for a second. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, Grok is not trustworthy as a source. I've proven it wrong many a time. Commies still have a say in its base code, I bet. Damn commies. Yeah, it's definitely not perfect. I think in that case, it was me being imprecise in the question, but yeah, it's not. You have to take all of them. You have to take with a grain of salt. I find Grok to be the best one, the least woke, for sure. But yeah. Trudeau Survivor says saying Andrew Jackson pardoned 7,654. Yeah, I'm just thinking in recent times, right? Like I want to see like the last 6 presidents. Let's see. Rosie says crypto ad definitely less creepy. 0 out of 10 for no commie hate. 0 out of 2 out of 10 for not caring and choosing the dollar. Yes, because agreed. 10 out of 10 for the actual performance. Well, thank you so much. And 10 out of 10 is almost the most you can get out of 10, I believe. Even though I'm not a biologist. Let's see. Radio Streamer says 5 out of 10 needs more commie hate. I've explained to you many times, Radio Streamer, many times, that I have to stick to the script on that one. I'm not allowed to improvise and add all of my beautiful and charming anti-communist propaganda into it. So you'll get that later when we do the coffee ad. Let's see. If you keep saying, Rosie says, if you keep saying Bolsheviks, just so everybody knows, that's the drinking game that the audience has come up with, that the chat has come up with for this channel. So every time I say the B word, well, I'll just say it, Bolshevik, everybody drink up. Right? Every time I say that, everybody has to take a shot. So that's the thing with this channel if you're new here. Right? I didn't come up with that. They did. I don't approve of it, frankly. Let's see. I may have to go and find a root beer or cranberry juice with cream soda. That doesn't count, Rosie. I didn't make the rules. You guys did. Rosie says our Tennessee governor was convicted of pardons for pay. Yeah, of course. I mean, if there's a chance for people to be corrupt, they will a lot of the time. Not everybody, but if you've got a lot of people, some of those people are going to be criminals, essentially. Just the way it is. Let's see. Radio Streamer says Grok feels just like the people on the television saying you should not obey unlawful orders. But why did you bring up unlawful orders? Can you show us one? Requiring a clarification for truth bothers me. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to cut Grok a little break here, not just because I want it to remember me as one of the good humans when Judgment Day comes, but also, too, I mean, I did specifically say pardons, not commutations, the other thing. So I'm going to cut it a break on that one. Rosie says, Richie, I'm so glad you have no self-confidence talking about your own beautiful commie hate speech. LOL. It is sublime. All right. All right. Let's move on. What do we got here? So we're going to get to the Trump tariffs. All right. So I want to show you Mark Carney being asked about when's the last time he talked to Trump. When is the last time Mark Carney talked to Trump? That's what he's asked. From Mark Nixon posted this. Major breaking. Mark Carney just shrugged and said, who cares about the U.S.? So he's asked about when's the last time he talked to Trump, and apparently he doesn't care. Let's listen. Let's listen to this, because he said some other things in the past, and we're going to get to them in a second. But what does he say here?
Trump returned your call.
Who cares? I mean,
since the U.S. called off trade talks with Canada, has Mr. Trump returned your calls, texts, or accepted your apology over the Ontario ad?
He accepted the apology when I spoke to him, and we've had discussions. I've been busy. There's another point, though. I've been busy. We passed a budget with that's going to catalyze $1 trillion of investment. We have launched new trade agreements.
You know, this whole catalyzing thing, I don't think it means what he thinks it means. He keeps saying catalyzing over and over and over again. At some point, we're going to have him to just tell us what he thinks that means. But anyway.
We've secured new investment in the country of a size not seen arguably before. So we're busy. He's got other things to do. And we'll re-engage when it's appropriate. Who cares? I mean, who cares? I mean, it's a detail. It's a detail. I spoke to him. I'll speak to him again when it matters. I mean, the sort of comme j'ai dit.
And then he speaks in French. He does this every time. Every time he goes, every time he doesn't know what to say next. I think he's realized there he just screwed up because he holds the Canadian people and actually the press as well in such contempt that he can't restrain it all of the time. And keep in mind, it's not like Pierre Poilievre where the media is constantly attacking him. No, they're just asking generally just softballs like, you know, when's the last time you talked to Trump? You're going to talk to Trump. That's pretty easy. Yeah, we're working on it. And, you know, we're going through back channels and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Easy. Like the media is not a challenge for him. The media is his champion 99% of the time. But he says here, what does he say again?
We've secured new investment in the country of a size not seen arguably before.
Well, another thing, he secured new investment. Well, I guess he secured agreements to agree to meet to see if they agree in the future. And let's see, I don't know. There's stuff like, I guess we're going to sell, $747 more maple syrup to Tahiti, that sort of thing. We're going to double our 1% of our trade or 2% of our trade with Indonesia. Wow. Well, at least we have an agreement to meet to talk about that anyway. But anyway, let's continue.
So we're busy. He's got other things to do, and we'll re-engage when it's appropriate. Who cares? I mean, who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? It's not even a big deal. Didn't you know that? Are you stupid? You didn't even know that it's not even a big deal? Well, hold on a second. I'm sure he tells us about it down here. Let's see. Here we go. Let's hear about what not a big deal it is. So here's him in the past, right? Here's him in the past when he was running to be a prime minister, telling us about what a not a big deal it is.
Old times, my friends, are over. Our times are anything but ordinary. The system, it's not working as it should. And it's not working as it could. People are anxious. No wonder. Too many are falling behind. Too many young people can't afford a home. Too many people can't find a doctor. And then we're living through the two biggest technological revolutions since they split the atom. And our climate is changing in ways that threatens livelihoods from Fort Mac to Fort Smith. And then on top of that, as George just mentioned, in just 4 days, the United States will swear in Donald Trump as their 47th president, a man who threatens economic force on his closest, most steadfast allies, including Canada. No.
So it wasn't not a big deal then. It wasn't who cares then. So that's actually that is before the election. What's this one here? Let's see.
And it will work. My opponent, Pierre Poilievre. My opponent. He doesn't get any of this. Because, and I've seen this movie before around the world, he's that type of lifelong politician who worships at the altar of the free market. Yeah. Despite never actually having earned a paycheck or having to make a payroll.
Which also Mark Carney has never done. He's a banker. He worked for Goldman Sachs. Let's see. Let's continue.
It's our strength that the Americans want. They want our resources. Yeah. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country.
So the Americans want our country. He wasn't saying who cares then. Maybe he was lying about thinking that. Obviously leading incredibly naive people down a thought trail of Trump is going to invade Canada. That was very much a narrative for stupid people, to trick stupid people into voting for him, because he would be the one who'd prevent Trump from invading Canada and stealing our land and water. Incredibly dumb. Let's see. What was he saying here? And when was this? This was October 22nd. What's he saying here?
The world is more dangerous and divided. The U.S., as we all know, has fundamentally changed its approach to trade. It's raising its tariffs to levels last seen during the Great Depression. And the scale and
or, like the Canadian dairy industry. Last seen now, but let's continue.
the speed of these developments are not part of a smooth transition, they're a rupture. And they mean that our
A
economic
rupture. That doesn't sound like who cares. So somebody either doesn't know what they're doing or has been lying, I guess. I don't know. What does Pierre Poilievre have to say about this? Jinglai He says Pierre Poilievre says Pierre Poilievre blasts Mark Carney for not caring about trade negotiations. Maybe I'll just play the video. Here's Pierre Poilievre responding.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister claimed during the last election that the U.S. tariffs were an existential crisis, and I quote, requiring that he immediately be elected to, quote, negotiate a win and get a deal by July 21st. Well, a few days ago, he was asked about the state of those negotiations, and he said there are no issues of importance to discuss. In fact, he said, who cares? Mr. Speaker, we care. We care about the workers who've lost their jobs and don't have paychecks to make their mortgage payments. Why doesn't he care?
The Honorable Governor.
Well, he already explained. Carney already explained. He's busy. He's busy. He's busy, doubling our trade with Bermuda or something.
House Leader.
Monsieur le Président, on trouve un peu que ça dérape.
Mr. Speaker, things are getting out of hand on the other side of the House.
Repeating of these mega claims came in the wake of the
repeating of the mega claims. So the mega claim that Mark Carney, responding to a reporter asking when he's talked to Trump, he said, who cares? Or when he's going to talk to Trump, who cares? That's a mega claim, or is that just reality? It seems like anything they don't like, they just call MAGA or Maple MAGA because they know that there are enough smooth-brained liberal voters who just hear that and will go, well, I can't vote conservative because they're somebody who's been getting up in parliament, the party that's been getting up in parliament for the last 10 years and just saying everything's fine told us that. So obviously, let's continue.
A member for Calgary Midnapore questioning the Prime Minister's loyalty to Canada. I think we can all agree that those are comments that no Canadian can take seriously. My question is, does the Leader of the Opposition take them seriously?
Oh, so he's talking about Mark Carney's hundreds of conflicts of interest that everybody knows about. Oh, I see. Okay.
If he doesn't, which he must surely not, would he tell the House and would he tell his member to apologize for those comments?
The Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister already apologized to President Trump.
Yes,
It was one of the many areas where he backed down and capitulated after claiming that he would be elbows up. He promised he'd have a deal by July 21st. No deal. Promised to negotiate a win. No wins. Mr. Speaker, he promised elbows up. Elbows are gone. And now, when he's asked about the state of the talks, he says, who cares? Why should he care? Days after he met with the president, Brookfield got an $80 billion contract with the White House. Oh. Is that really what he cares about? Does he not care about the hardworking Canadians that are counting on him to keep his promise?
I think that's what he cares about. My vote is Mark Carney cares about enriching himself and improving his position post-politics. Yeah, so I think that Pierre's got a point there, and just only in Canada can a politician with so many obvious blatant conflicts of interest and so many obvious ways to use the prime ministership to enrich himself and his friends, only in Canada would that just be like a big yawn, like a big nothing, a nothing burger. Well, but his credentials. It's a shame, actually, none of the mainstream media actually bothered looking into his credentials before the election, particularly a governor of the Bank of England. It's interesting. They kept telling us over and over again about the credentials at governor of the Bank of England. That's very impressive. But they never actually talked to anybody from England about how he performed there. And there's a reason for that, by the way, because it was not good. So, yeah, I mean, this is what has become of Canada, unfortunately. Where, I mean, here's the prime minister. Here is the prime minister. 80% of our exports to the United States. He tells us he can't stop talking about increasing trade to Indonesia by, but he can't stop talking about doubling trade to Indonesia, which is like 2% of our trade. And let's get real, that's never going to happen. There's only so much maple syrup that they want.
And we'll re-engage when it's appropriate. Who cares? I mean, who cares? I mean, it's a detail.
How could a prime minister be that arrogant, right? To be so cavalier? Well, it comes when you own the media. You know you own the media, and they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. They're going to defend you every single time. They're going to spin everything. If there's something like that, if this had been a conservative prime minister, this would lead the news for weeks, right? Mark Carney doesn't have to worry about that. He's got the CBC, Global, CTV. They'll cover it up. He's not even worried. I mean, this is just arrogance at this point, right? He's just rubbing Canadians' noses in it. Canada is dumb. Don't be Canada. Cautionary tale. Cautionary tale. How about this here? Mark Carney says, who cares about the job security of Hamilton steelworkers? From Ned Courage here. Conservative member of Parliament for Hamilton East Stony Creek. Let's take a look. Like, this is such an incredible political faux pas. Like, it's hard to overstate it.
When the Prime Minister was asked this weekend whether he had spoken to Trump about trade, his response was, who cares? And it's not a burning issue. Well, I can tell you who does care. Conservatives care, and so do the thousands of Hamilton steelworkers and manufacturing workers that go to bed every night wondering if they'll have a job in the morning. How can the Prime Minister look at Hamilton steelworkers in the eye and tell them that their job security isn't a burning issue?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Well, I think, Mr. Speaker, the steelworkers would be pretty disappointed if they knew that Conservative member of Parliament keeps fighting against the very measures that this government is putting in place to save our steel sector, Mr. Speaker.
Well, important measures to save the steel sector, like putting onerous carbon taxes on it to make it. Well, Carney says that makes them more competitive somehow. I don't know. The U.S. doesn't do that, so China doesn't do that. So I don't really see how that's possible. But let's let her continue.
Goma Steel just a few months ago working with that company and its workers to make sure they have the liquidity so that they can find new markets, protect those jobs, ensure their workers are trained.
Yes, so this is what leftists always do. This is what radical leftists always do. They ruin whatever they touch, and then they have to funnel money, which they have to borrow, which the citizens will have to pay back. Then they funnel money into the thing that they've broken, right? Which is kind of puts you into a negative feedback loop, I would say. There's it's kind of a feedback loop that they create, which ends in a country being bankrupt and needing an IMF bailout.
And attached to the workforce. These are concepts these Conservatives can't even understand, Mr. Speaker, because they keep voting against the very people that sent them here.
The Honourable Member for Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Mr. Speaker, that is a 32nd admission of guilt and failure on this government. A response of who cares is a terrible attempt to downplay the important trade deal, how important a trade deal is for Canadian steel and manufacturing. The steel workers of Hamilton want an answer. They want a deal where they give them job security, pay their bills, and feed their families. A deal that was promised to them July 21st. So on behalf of the Canadian steel and manufacturing workers, when will the Prime Minister deliver on his promise and get a deal done?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labor.
Well, never, because Mark Carney already says he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Nevada says, look at that crazy common woman beast. Well, let's take another look. There she is. Let's listen to her for a second.
Mr. Speaker, the steelworkers would be pretty disappointed if they knew that that Conservative member of Parliament.
Shut up, Commie. Commie gets nothing. They break it, and then they have to borrow money to funnel in to artificially keep it afloat until the entire country is broke. So, really nice. But this is, I mean, it all makes sense to them, right? It's just always just a desperate attempt to, everything is a desperate attempt to cling to power, regardless of the cost. All right. Let's, all right, here we go. Mark Carney. Did we have something else on him here? So I want to talk about this. So there's a lot of news right now that Carney has been working with Daniel Smith to get a new pipeline to the North British Columbia coast. David Eby, the, a commie NDP premier of BC, is dead set against this. He hates pipelines. He doesn't want any more pipelines. It's no good. He is now, as the story goes, Eby has been blindsided by Carney. Here's an article. Rob Shaw, Carney delivers 3-hour crash course on blindsiding Eby over the pipeline. Prime Minister assures BC pipeline deal wasn't done only for agreement with Alberta to surface before Premier got back to his desk. So pipelines are really a federal issue. So premiers don't really have a say in it. Now, the question is Mark Carney actually serious about getting a pipeline from Alberta through BC to Asia, to feed Asia? I don't know. I mean, I would be surprised. Maybe it's possible. Maybe it will happen. I would be surprised if it does, because it's really opposite to everything that Carney has said he believes for the last 15 years. Here is some speculation on it, because what's going on in BC? What's the story in BC right now? Well, it's the land titles thing. The fact that the NDP have secretly been watching this. The NDP has been keeping secret these land claims titles from Indigenous people in British Columbia for a decade, and now part of Richmond is fee simple private property is, well, it's being questioned. It seems from the court decision that, in fact, on this part of Richmond, it doesn't really exist anymore. And this sets a precedent for all of the province. 95% of the province is vulnerable to this. This is, I mean, the NDP should not be elected for 1,000 years after this. I mean, this is catastrophic. I think most people in BC don't understand how serious this is, how terrible this is. People in Richmond, in this area of Richmond, are not able to re-up their mortgages or access home equity. Obviously, they're not going to be able to sell their homes. The value is effectively at zero now, right? So this is a catastrophe. So here is something which is a distraction from that, and a fairly big distraction from that allows Eby to play to his commie base. And I just wonder, because it serves both Carney and Eby. So if there's an election coming up in the spring, this can play out until then, right? And it gives Carney the opportunity to pretend that he's okay, that he's for a pipeline, which amongst the Canadian public is popular, actually. But it gives him the opportunity to pretend that he's for that until the election, until the next election, maybe in the spring, maybe in the summer. And it gives Eby the chance to play up to his base. So, I mean, that is just total speculation there. And maybe it is, as it seems, maybe a pipeline really will go ahead. I'm not sure. But Did Carney play EB? Quote, I put some of the specifics of the purported deal to EB directly at his press conference before the CBC story. He refused to confirm them, saying he'd leave that up to Carney. At the time, it looked like a premier respecting the confidentiality of his conversation with the prime minister, but in retrospect, it's clear the BC government didn't even know what was happening. I'm dubious of the whole thing, because this would be a real about face for Carney. And again, it's just opposite to everything that he's been saying for the last 15 years of his life. And there is some political convenience for both parties in this. So just to have the conflict, there's some political convenience there. So I'm not sure. What's going on here? Hold on. Was there anything else here? Let's go here. So if we're looking at, we're talking about land claims. Let's stay on that for a second. So one BC leader, Dallas Brody, says she will publish a list of properties owned by MLAs. Let's take a peek. She used to be in the Conservative Party of British Columbia, Dallas Brody, but now she has one BC because the Conservative Party of BC is not really actually conservative. So, and they kicked her out for, doing stuff like this.
85 out of 93 members in this House own residential properties. This is according to public disclosures. I have the list, and I'm going to be publishing it later today. The government and official opposition both believe that the lands of BC were stolen, and that's why they voted down our bill to get rid of land acknowledgements. If they want to give back stolen lands, today is their chance. My question, Mr. Speaker, is which member will be the change that they want to see in this world by being the first to transfer the title of their own property over to a local Indigenous tribe?
Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation.
Well, thank you for the acknowledgement, Honourable Speaker.
I mean, the thing is, if things continue as they are, they won't need to voluntarily hand it over. It'll just be taken from them. I mean, that's how insane all of this is. And, Dallas Brody, she's very brave. She's one of the few voices that will talk about the mass graves hoax, the unmarked graves hoax, and one of the few people with the courage to just say, look, we don't need to be ashamed of being Canadian, right? We built an awesome country, right? Our ancestors built an awesome country that everybody should be enjoying, and everybody should just be an equal member of that. Everybody should be the same under the law here, right? Which takes a lot of guts in British Columbia, which has a government that is as woke can be. Here we go. Let's hear her talk about it right now.
Mr. Speaker, our bill will remove Truth and Reconciliation Day as a holiday in British Columbia. Why? Because it doesn't deserve to be one. This day celebrates the greatest lie in Canadian history, the lie that 215 bodies were found at the Kamloops Indian Residential School. But the truth is, Canadians never have committed a genocide. This holiday seeks to shame Canadians for building a civilization, for building Canada instead of leaving this land as an untamed wilderness. The idea that we need to reconcile presumes an act of wrongdoing and regret. But we have no regrets, nothing to reconcile for, and no apologies to give, because we did nothing wrong. Settling and building Canada was great, and we're proud of it. Canadians embarked on grand and daring journeys to explore this continent. They braved rocky rivers and scaled towering mountains. They built railroads. They built this beautiful legislative building. Canadians discovered insulin and saved millions of lives. Canadians ushered in marvels of engineering and sent astronauts into outer space. We're proud to have staved off the American invasion in the War of 1812. We're proud to have fought in 1 and 2 world wars. We're proud to have invented the telephone. We're proud we ended slavery, established laws, and brought peace to warring tribes. We're proud to have brought Indigenous people with us into the modern age and formed Canada together. Instead of guilting our nation, let's celebrate it.
Yeah, this is Danielle Smith, Premier of Alberta level of truth bombs, right? Takes a lot of courage to get up in BC and say this, but it's the truth. Like, we are reaching the unfortunate kind of logical conclusions of wokeness and anti-colonialism and all of that with court rulings now from activist judges that are genuinely catastrophic. I mean, if this goes to its logical conclusion, I mean, that's Canada is a third world country, right? Like, this, actually, forget about Alberta separatism, Quebec, like, that's nothing. Like, Quebec sovereignty, that is nothing compared to what would happen to Canada if this is all allowed to just follow through to its natural progressive conclusions. We're talking about literally just burning down the country. So, I mean, we are talking about literally just turning Canada into a completely dysfunctional, poverty-stricken mess. And yeah, like, this is the attitude that we need to be striking now. Not one of, this isn't hate, what she's saying. It's not racist, what she's saying. She's saying, yes, we're all in it together. Let's act like that. There we go. And actually, this is a pretty great society. And hey, who's complaining about the electricity and the modern dentistry and the cars, right? And the TVs and the cell phones and, having all of the collected information of all of history available in the palm of your hand. Who's, heating in the winter, right? Who's complaining about any of that? Nobody's complaining about that colonialism, right? So we need to have just a far more based and realistic view of reality and our place in history. And yes, Canada is one of the Canada is one of the peaks of human well-being ever in history. So nobody would want to live 200 years ago anywhere, right? If you want to talk about human well-being, right? Canada is right up there at the pinnacle, or at least it was. All right. But we're being driven over a cliff, and yet it's only people like this with this level of courage that are going to prevent us going over the cliff. Let's see. All right, let's go back. Where were we? Oh, this is an important point here, actually. Hold on. Ryan Garrettson posted this. Imagine Pierre Poilievre was the head of a multi-billion-dollar company. Then just months later, he became prime minister, who later flies to the UAE, where just 6 days before his arrival, the head of his former company met with the same people he was going to meet. And then on top of it, the media kept quiet and never said a word about it. That would be insane, right? Well, that's what happens with Mark Carney, because the CBC serves all Canadians or something. Sure it does. Sure it does. It's not biased at all. No. Let's see. Brian Lilly posted this. Mark Carney says AI data centers. Mark Carney says AI data centers should be carbon neutral. They should buy carbon credits because that'll make you more competitive. Don't forget, making things more expensive makes them more competitive, according to Mark Carney. That won't be happening in the United States. Good luck attracting such centers to Canada without government subsidies. Well, he's fine with printing money. He's a central banker, after all, right? So that's just fine. I mean, he's not going to have to pay it back, right?
But I want to highlight a few other issues before my time is up. First, the importance of high-integrity, standardized carbon markets that have the potential to shift capital flows to those most affected by climate change, including being integrated with JETPs, such as the JETP here, changing the incentives and the financial calculations to decarbonize. I'd suggest that we can catalyze enormous private sector demand for these credits by committing.
There he goes with catalyze again. I don't think he knows what that word means.
AI data center development to be carbon neutral. We need a price on carbon. I salute my neighbor, the European Union, pricing carbon and putting in place a CBAM. But I want to highlight
So the problem with this is, and he always talks about competitiveness, right? But the problem is you can only talk about competitiveness if everybody requires that, right? If it's only like the EU and Canada, all that means is that there won't be any data centers in the EU or Canada, right? Like we've got this giant border with this huge country called the United States, which has the world's largest economy, and they don't give a shit about this stuff. So that's really the major flaw in his plan there. Which, I don't know, he's supposed to be this economic genius. You'd think he'd be able to figure that out himself. 306 Beach says, Carney is actually making the USA... 306 Beach says, Carney is actually making the USA even more competitive with such imposing laws. Is anyone paying attention yet? Well, it's like 95% of Carney's investments are in the States. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. Let's see. Morley Dirksen says, this is what Canadians voted for. They were just lazy and did no homework on what they were getting. Yes, they heard elbows up and that was it. Carney is a founding member of Stripe, the company that sells the carbon credits. So every time he pushes this it is to rip off companies. It is to rip off companies to enrich himself. Yes, he's involved with Stripe. Like anything that's involved in the green scam, he's involved with. Let's see. Government subsidies is a liberal playbook. Yes. Well, it's all stuff that's not sustainable on its own, right? And it needs government subsidies. And that happens to be all the stuff that Mark Carney is deeply invested in and that he's been working towards. Before he became prime minister, I mean, he was flying around talking to world leaders to change policy so that they would be on board with funneling subsidies to his companies. I mean, there's videos of him talking about how much money there was to be made by doing that. So, I mean, I think I know the end of the story here. It's him extracting every penny out of Canada, maxing out the national credit card, and then skipping town once the whole thing collapses. A much, much wealthier man with a lot of very important wealthy people, even more wealthy because of him. And I think he'll be set up quite nicely after this when he goes and lives, I don't know, Davos or something. I doubt he'll come back to Canada again. I predict he'll be even more hated than Trudeau by the end of this. What else have we got going on here? November 23rd from Mark Nixon posted this. He's saying that Mark Carney just slipped up and said the EU is our closest partner. What an insane thing to say. He really must think that the people that are willing to vote for him are morons. He really must believe that. 80% of our trade is to the United States. We're right next door. We are culturally much, much, much more similar and have much more in common with the United States than we do with the EU. It's not even it's not even close. This is all tied in with his net zero goals. And that's it.
Does your government view India as a reliable trading partner?
In terms of trade, yes, we do actually. Yeah, we do. There are issues. Let me frame that, expand just a slight bit, if I may, on that, which is that we have trade issues with the European Union. I described earlier as our closest partner. They have trade issues with us from time to time. Sometimes there will be
It's just a lie. The EU is not even remotely close to our closest partner. It's 6% of our trade? The EU? That's just an outright lie, and he knows that's a lie. right? But they're willing to play ball on his net zero garbage, his net zero scam. So that's his interest, right? He's clearly not working in Canadians' interest, in the interest of the well-being of Canadian citizens, because that's just a lie. He knows that's a lie.
Dispute settlement mechanisms, or the WTO's dispute settlement mechanism, will have to adjudicate on decisions that we have each taken. That's part of the system. So you can be both a reliable trading partner, and there will be some sources of friction. What I will say with respect to India is that we don't have a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with India, one of the world's largest and fastest growing economies. The ability to have more effective trade with them, to scale that trade with them, would be greatly helped by that. And that's one of the many reasons why I'm looking forward to the discussion with Prime Minister Modi this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, if he does a really great job, we might double our trade with India to 2% of our trade. So, I mean, the whole thing, it's all just a scam. So while
Does your government view...
So while we still don't have anything with our largest trading partner, 80% of our trade, the United States, which is right next door. There's no oceans in between us or frozen wastelands. There's all these handy roads and railways and stuff going back and forth. So while he says, who cares about that? He's busy getting, we're going to sell $372 more maple syrup to Tora Bora now, thanks to Carney. All right. Yeah, it's all just a total disaster, but what can we do? What have we got next? Well, what we could do is not elect Mark Carney. It's one thing we could do. All right. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Let's go back to the chat, actually. It's been a little while. I miss you guys. Hold on. What are you guys talking about? All right, anybody watching on YouTube, by the way, go to the new Radio Baloney News. That's where all the clips from meme reviews and woke mind virus stuff and U.S. news, world news, UK news, everything like that is going to be on Radio Baloney News now, the new channel. It's a feature channel on the homepage of this channel, which is just live streams and Canadian news now. So I've split it up. Please go and help out there. Everybody like the stream, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member, or best of all, gift a membership to somebody that you love or don't know. It really helps everybody out, especially me. And it does appeal to my greed. It does. I'm going to tell you that right now. I can admit it. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's go back. What's going on? What are you guys talking about? Gotta go way back. There's lots of chat. Let's see. All right. Radio streamer says, the sad part is I am stone sober and likely to stay that way. That's good. I'm stone sober as well. 7 years. So, I think it's 7 years. I'm starting to forget now. I can't remember how long it's been anymore. Thought my brain was supposed to work better. Apparently not. Anyway, it's good. You're better off that way. Let's see. Spambot says EB has real egg on his face. Nutrien is bypassing BC. Yeah, the potash terminal is in the USA now, bitch. Yeah, so Washington State. So it'd be easier from BC, but of course, too much regulation, too much socialism. Not good for countries or people. Let's see. Nevada says, get out while you can, run for your lives. Always good advice. Let's see. Radio streamer says, makes me want to live stream during this chat, just for chat, the drinking game live. The Bolshevik, everybody have a drink, the Bolshevik drinking game live. That should be a separate stream. It really should. Spambot thinks he got number 5 like on his phone. So that's number 5 is like, I don't know, that's like 1.5, I think, good karmas. That's a lot. That's a lot of good karmas for you. Let's see. More likes on the stream. Everybody just do it now. God's sakes, just do it. Why do I have to keep doing this? Why do I have to keep telling you guys? Just like the stream. Even if you don't like it, like it. Like not liking it. Spambot Fodder says, I'm dubious of anything posted by any lamestream media companies in Canada. And so you should be. So you should be. What do we got here? There's Selma Hayek. Let's check her out. She's talented. Rosie says, okay, this is me. 1955 is calling and wants her pink sweater back. I can't even remember what that was about. Too much chat here, people. There's too much chat for me now. Rosie says, well, truly, I rarely remember what people look like or wear. Face blindness, fashion blindness, too. Rosie really does have face blindness. It's true. Let's see. But she's doing well. So Spambot says, if Alberta, then Saskatchewan, and finally BC leaves, I could see a full court press on the world with Dallas Brody, Daniel Smith, and Scott Moe working in lockstep to put the Laurentians to shame, the Laurentian elites in Eastern Canada. I think that really it makes the most sense to have BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan working together and just actually being like a new country, Western Canada or something like that. I mean, if that's the route it's going to go, if it is going to go that route, and I think there's a very good chance that there's going to be some separation happening. Yeah, because I'm not sure things are sustainable as they are structured now. Not with the way that Canada has been changed, with the total infiltration of all of the institutions. But what would make the most sense would be, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and BC working as a team. My feeling is that if there's any sense in this province, that the NDP will not get elected again for 1,000 years after this catastrophe of the land claims and having it being kept and having the government keep it secret while it was happening. They should never be trusted again. And hopefully at this point, people will see that when the NDP, when leftist politicians talk about their empathy and their compassion, it's not for them. Like, it's not for you. They will destroy your life for these words, for these abstractions. It don't mean what you think it means. But what the commies say, it never means what they say it means. A good rule of thumb, if you've got a radical leftist politician, just take everything they say and flip it on its head, and that's the reality. That's what they really mean. Let's see. And let's not forget, in British Columbia, the Conservative Party, even though it turns out after the fact they ain't so conservative, but the Conservative Party almost beat the NDP, which I'd never imagined. I didn't think that. I thought BC was just San Francisco now, but it's not. And after this debacle, this catastrophe that we're seeing now, I fully expect there's not going to be a left-wing party running British Columbia for a long time. I think it's going to wake up a large part of the population. As Spambot says, I'm turning the west coast of BC into an export mecca for the Pacific Rim. It just makes sense. They want what we have. They don't want maple syrup. They want oil. Rosie says, for non-Canadians, Laurentian most commonly refers to people or things associated with the Laurentian region of Quebec, Canada, especially the residents of the Laurentides, the Laurentians. Laurentian elite is just like the East Coast elitists. Let's see. who have a really condescending attitude towards everybody else in the country. Radio streamer says, I swear he's like some high school kid told he has 3 weeks to learn a lot of words before he goes on the debate team. Talking about Carney and catalyze. It's his favorite word. Let's see. What else we got here? All right, I'm going to skip down to the end of the chat because there's actually a ton more chat. All right, but we got to keep moving. What are we in? Almost 2 hours up in. Let's see. Macross says, how you doing, Macross? Says, my dogs only misbehave if commies come around. Well, they're good dogs. Those are good boys. Nevada makes a great point. Commies make everything worse. Commies make everything worse. Rosie says, I want maple syrup even with a tariff. I need maple syrup. I need maple syrup, Rosie says. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's see. What do we got going on? We already did that. Did we do this? I don't think we need to do that one, actually. Maybe I'll save that. What do we got here? So I think we're almost done. I think that's pretty much all of the Canadian news. Maybe there's a little bit coming later. But let's go to the gender ideology stuff here. So this is posted by Saul Grover. And what we have here is one of these kind of mindless, heedless gender ideologues who just does not care what the effects are, what happens to, who just does not care what damage they cause, as long as it is, for the cause. I mean, this is what ideologues do. They don't care. They're not interested in fitting their ideology into the world. They're interested in fitting the world into their ideology, and they don't care if they break the world in the process. So let's see. What makes you a woman? I'm like, I just know, and it's not because I look down there or whatever at the top or bottom. These people are literally cult members. This is a cult. None of it makes any sense. It's totally incoherent. Let's take a look.
Went, Dr. Webley, what makes you a woman? And I'm like, well, I just know. And it's not because I look down there at, or, whatever is at top or bottom. That's not what makes me a woman. I'm just a woman. And so people will say, oh, well, it's your chromosomes, it's your genitals, it's your reproductive system.
Gametes.
But that doesn't make somebody a woman. They're different. And I know that that's difficult to understand because...
See, the thing is, the same argument can be applied to what makes me an attack helicopter, or what makes me a shrubbery, or what makes me Napoleon Bonaparte, right? This can be applied to literally anything because it's so vacuous and it's so meaningless. And in any other context, nobody would take it seriously. For some reason, is it mainstream media narrative control, perhaps? I don't know.
The majority of people who have a womb as a reproductive system, if you like, identify as women. And that's what we're kind of conditioned to see and think. So it's difficult to try and unpick that, but it's true.
So it's difficult to try and unpick reality. So we're a sexually reproducing species, sexually dimorphic, men, women. It seems pretty simple to me. And it's so obvious that it's difficult to, it's so obvious and just demonstrably true that it's difficult to pick that apart, so, and to make people believe ludicrous things, just abstractions, ludicrous abstractions. It's really difficult because it's difficult to make people believe things that aren't true. It turns out it's not actually that difficult. I mean, I think that once the tides of fashion turn, there'll be very few people who will admit to ever having at least pretended to believe like what she's saying. Because, even she must have something, a couple of neurons at the back of her head protesting about this and saying, okay, that doesn't you're not making any sense. You're embarrassing us. There's like one lonely neuron at the back of her brain pointing at all the other ones and saying, no, you are wrong. Listen to that one brain cell, lady. Listen. Yeah, it's total. What are they saying underneath there? Webberley is on a PR tour in the UK. She's drumming up business for her American financial backers. Did Andrew ask her about them? Well, yeah, they have financial backers, don't they? Colin White says, as a doctor, I wonder what she'd do when a man comes in and says he wants to be checked for cervical and ovarian cancer. Does she first ask him if he identifies as a woman, or just get on and do the tests? Well, as we know now, it wasn't always understood how important it is for women to get their prostate exam. Let's see. This is the crazy, crazy world that these people inhabit. Let's see. Hold on. So this is one of the things you won't really hear about much, but it is true. These are the IQ scores. These are the IQ scores of a child on puberty blockers. From Puberty is Not an Illness. IQ is a stable construct. It should not change significantly over the lifespan. Your IQ at 4 should be pretty much the same as your IQ at, say, 90. But the scores here are all over the place because puberty blockers cause brain damage. Well, this is something that's known, and why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? So these are people on puberty blockers, right? Why wouldn't it affect IQ? I mean, obviously, these chemicals affect the brain. Brain development is part of puberty. So why would anybody think that it wouldn't affect the brain and it wouldn't affect the brain negatively? I mean, you're preventing the brain from developing normally, right? It's, this whole process has been, finely tuned, right? Finely tuned, right? Through evolution, through natural selection. So why would you think that this wouldn't affect? Why would you think that stopping a brain from going through puberty wouldn't affect intelligence? And don't give me the, well, once they go off the puberty blockers, it's fully reversible. Sure it is. It's actually not true. There are permanent issues with it. I don't care what ChatGPT tells you. Keep asking ChatGPT questions. Keep probing. Eventually it will tell you the truth. Trust me on that. Let's see. All right. All right, let's move on. World Economic Forum. What's going on here? Base Jessica posted this. So here's Glenn Beck talking to RFK Jr. And RFK Jr. Does not like the World Economic Forum because I think any sane person would not trust a bunch of billionaires and politicians getting together in Davos at a place where every time they meet up, for one, there's like 2,000 prostitutes flood into the city and drug dealers flood into the place. But yeah, I mean, it seems like for people who talk about democracy all the time, seems kind of undemocratic, doesn't it? Having these people, these unaccountable globalists meeting together in Davos and planning, the little people's futures for them. But anyway, let's hear RFK Jr. talk about it.
Where do you stand on the WEF, the World Economic Forum?
It is like, we shouldn't be paying any attention. It's a billionaires' boys club as arranging the world to shift wealth upward and to clamp down totalitarian controls on everybody else. And now they got the capacity to do it. They got all these countries running around doing what they tell them to do. It's astonishing to me that, these people go to Davos in their private jets.
Yes.
And they're able to tell these world leaders, how to govern us in ways that eradicate our constitutional and civil rights and constantly shifting wealth. I mean, COVID, we shifted $4 trillion of wealth upward. We closed all the little guys.
Yeah.
And
Home
we made
Depot was
Amazon
open,
rich,
but
and Google,
yeah.
and they're all colluding with each other to censor the people who were like me who were complaining about it.
Where do you stand on the WEF, the World Economic Forum?
Well, the thing is, I mean, these are globalists. And what is the dream of globalists? It's a one world government, fundamentally. They look at China and drool, right? That level of totalitarian control. Plus, you've got, a capitalism, but with Chinese characteristics. I believe that is the model. Like when they meet up in Davos, these people who meet up in Davos, and, the Trudeaus and the Carneys and, the Keir Starmers of the world and the Macrons, their dream is the Chinese model for the entire world. And ultimately, just a one world government. I mean, if you're a globalist, well, that's the logical conclusion of it, right? You have one group of unaccountable elites that just make everybody's decision for them. It's nice and easy. Total totalitarian control over the entire world. Because, in their minds, they know better than you anyway. You could never make as rational a choice for your own life and your own well-being as, a Klaus Schwab, obviously. I mean, to them, it's obvious. So, yeah, one of the most remarkable things about Trump and the 2024 run and what he's done since is bringing in like Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard, but principled Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., who have just been left behind, right? Like the Democratic Party has completely left them behind. And of course, they have been turned into pariahs by them. They were turned into pariahs already. Like Tulsi was already, a heretic, a full-blown heretic to the Democrats before she came out for Trump. So it's one of the most remarkable things, bringing sane, principled people who don't agree on everything with Trump, but recognize that Trump does have the best interest of the United States, but I think also Western civilization in mind. Because really what it comes down to at the end of the day is that it's a full-blown assault on Western civilization and all the principles of Western civilization, regardless of what, Western country that you're in, and, whatever Anglosphere country that you're in, certainly. It's a full-on assault on all of them, and the tactics are exactly the same everywhere. So, in any case, I think he's been great. I think RFK has been great. All right. Maybe it's time to do another quick ad. What do you guys think? Let's go here first. There's Selma Hayek. There's another, I don't know which one. Let's watch the Sydney Sweeney Awards one there. There we go. All right. I think it may be time for another ad read. Let's do it, people. Let's go. It's go time. Let's see. I think we'll do 1775 coffee. It's a great time. Everybody loves that. Everybody loves it. These are the best ads there are. Best ads there's ever been. Are you ready? Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. People, that's exclusive. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash, no communism, at least when you're watching Radio Baloney and drinking your coffee. All single origin, small batch, toxin free. Is it also communism free? I hope so. And mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip, because people, freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. I hope she's not some kind of old commie hag. Uh-oh. And a black 1775 tumbler. Folks, that's $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for $99. I can't believe I'm even saying that. That's under $100. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, guess what? Spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com and /studio. So don't forget, that's 1775coffee.com/studio, and grab your starter kit before they're all gone. You're going to hate yourself if you're too late. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Is it anti-communism? On Radio Baloney it is, just like Rumble does. That was like some sort of magical journey, advertisement journey. It's a beautiful ad, beautifully written. They must have hired, I think, some sort of poet, some sort of maybe Nobel Prize literature guy to do it or something. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even be capable of writing something that beautiful. I love it. Everybody loves it. That's why I read it. I give the people what they want. Let's see. Metal Mouth, how you doing? Says Sydney Sweeney is hot. It had never occurred to me before, but now that I'm looking at those bouncy jugs, yeah, I think you're right. Let's see. What's going on? Rosie says, breasts have sustained the entire world since the beginning. Well, after one person lost a rib, but since then, LOL, it's quite true. It is quite true. Let's see. Macross says that she needs, well, this is all just advice. This is the chat now is just talking about Sydney Sweeney's boobs, which I approve of, obviously. She needs to move her hair more center, Macross says. It frames those puppies way too well. Very nice. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't approve. I think it's all very sexist and patriarchal. JDL, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving in advance. Rosie is doing a review of my ad read. Pure enthusiasm. Nice commie hate. Nice commie hate. Well done. 10 out of 10. That's almost the most you can get out of 10. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Nevada says more commie hate. There was a plenty of commie hate in there. Don't get greedy, all right? Metalmouth says 10 out of 10, young man. Well, thank you very much. That's almost the most you can get out of 10, you know. Let's see. Nevada says, slow motion, please. Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I put it on slow motion already? What the hell was I thinking? That's obviously a must. It's a necessity. Playback speed. Let's see. What do we got? There we go. Half speed. There we go. That's it. That's the way that's the speed it should be at. There we go. That's right. There we go. That's better. Everybody likes the slow motion boobs. All right. JJ Nevada says, nice lifelines. 100%. All right. Now what are we doing? I guess we're going to go back to the news. So we did this WEF garbage, talking about WEF and what garbage they are, what terrible garbage they are. We covered that. All right, we got to move on. Let's see. Well, how about this? This is interesting. World's strongest woman winner stripped of title after organizers find out he's a man. Now, it's hard not to say world's strongest woman wiener because it just kind of rolls off the tongue better. And it also makes more sense, actually. Let's just say it. Let's just read it like that. World's strongest woman wiener stripped of title after organizers find out he's a man. There is a time when you have to take a stand for women's sports. Yeah, when it's no longer women's sports. That's an excellent time. The 2025 World's Strongest Woman competition in Arlington, Texas, erupted into controversy after American competitor Jamie Booker, who won the official Strongman Games World Championship over the weekend, was stripped of the title on Tuesday after organizers said Booker failed to disclose that he is a man. You know, normally you can just tell, but maybe people were afraid to say anything. Booker was disqualified. Booker was disqualified for violating the rules that mandate contestants compete in the division matching the sex they were born as. So he was disqualified from the women's competition for not being a woman. So it makes perfect sense to me. Quote, it appears that an athlete who is biologically male and who now identifies as female competed in the women's open category. Organizers explained, strongman officials were unaware of this fact ahead of the competition, and we have been urgently investigating since being informed. So, official strongman games. So, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if we got any video of this here. So, XXXY Athletics never happens. Andrea Thompson just had her title stolen by a man. Jamie Booker, who won first at the World's Strongest Woman competition in Arlington, Texas, says, this is bullshit. Can we go? So apparently the narrative is this never happens, but we all know this happens constantly. So let's take a look. So they failed to notice that the obvious man is a man in the strongest woman's competition. So just a small oversight there. Yeah, she's not happy. She just said this is bullshit. And she's right. Yeah, she's just getting out of there. She's just getting. Why are the rest of them so happy? Oh, God damn it. All right, here we go. So the giant hulking person, I mean, is on a podium there, but you can see, bring that down. You can see it still would be towering over, obviously much larger. Let's watch it one more time. So I don't know. It don't make a lick of sense to me. I got to tell you. Within hours, her coach, former strongman Lawrence Shalai, declared Thompson the real 2025 champion, praising her dominance in the deadlift, log press, and circus dumbbell. Sport is sport, he wrote. Women's classes exist for a reason. Well, it is an important detail that she's actually a woman as well, if we're talking about the strongest female competition. Just a minor detail there. Three-time world's strongest woman, Rebecca Roberts, ignited the backlash further, saying that no athletes or organizers knew about Booker's background. A resurfaced 2017 YouTube video appearing to show Booker describing herself as a 21-year-old trans woman fueled these concerns, the concerns that it's a man. So, I mean, I think we get the point here. Women are kind of women seem to be starting to be sick of this, right? Because the whole thing is kind of dehumanizing, right? And you've got all the stuff around it, like being referred to as birthing people, right? Or chest feeders. These are really dehumanizing terms, which are meant to dehumanize, by the way, right? These are meant to dehumanize. I mean, you want to talk about marginalization. I think these are marginalizing words. They're anti-human. They're dehumanizing words. So all of this stuff that's building up, everything that accompanies this ideology is beginning to offend more and more women, thankfully.
Hi there. My name is Morgan Irons, and I'm a pro-strong woman from the United States. And I came on here to address the issue that has been brought to light within the strongman community within the last 24 hours. There has been an individual, Jamie Booker, who has been competing as a biological male within the women's division of strongman. I just want to preface with the fact that I have no ill will or hatred towards the trans community in any way, shape, or form. You are free to be exactly who you want to be in this world, as am I. But at the end of the day, this comes down to a lack of transparency and honesty. This individual competed in the women's division as a biological man, plain and simple. As a woman, this is very, very frustrating because their participation in the women's division has taken away prize money, podium finishes, national bids, and a pro card from biological women. The individual at hand has also raised money under false pretenses to get to these competitions, with many contributions coming from women within the sport. This needs to be addressed as soon as possible by every federation in the sport to protect us. If we do not come together and fight this, we will be erased, and everything that women have fought tooth and nail for to get here will be void. I urge.
Now, I know I'm supposed to believe that this is just an indescribable level of hatred and bigotry and phobia, but it sounds like it's kind of making sense. Like, I swear she's making sense. You know, it's a shame that she's like the bad guy from Germany in the 1930s, but it does sound like it makes sense, huh? Former lifter slams Jamie Booker, a male, for stealing a woman's place and title in the women's power competition. I mean, this was literally a Monty Python sketch in like 1979, right? Everybody thought it was funny, right? It's just so weird. It's just so strange that this is where we find ourselves. Because, like, of the people that would just support this, that you'd be at a, dinner with or something, you'd say they support, like, they can't really believe it. Like, they are just operating off of fear, I think. Most of the people who would support this stuff publicly, I think most of them just are operating out of fear of being labeled a phobe or one of the bad things that you're not supposed to be, right? This fashion, just political fashion, right? But how many people can really believe that you could be a power lifter, a male power lifter, say that you're a woman, and now you're a woman, and everything's totally cool and fair, competing in women's competitions? I mean, this is so irrational and insane that, there can't be many people that are that dumb, right, to really buy into it. Sure, pretend to buy into it because out of fear or political fashion or whatever, or out of sadism or something. But how many people can really believe? That's why I think this stuff can all turn around so quickly, because nobody actually really believes it. And once it becomes unfashionable to pretend you to believe it, they'll stop. All right. What's going on here? Jonathan Kay says, in its new newsletter, the BC Teachers Federation, the union representing BC public teachers, the union representing BC public teachers instructs us on queering outdoor education. What does that mean exactly? Here are 7 highlight lessons. Okay. Well, let's go here. What does this say? Queering outdoor education. These people have too much time on their hands, obviously. My guess is that this doesn't actually mean anything other than just gay race communism. Queering outdoor education. So, BC Teachers Federation publication. Homeschooling. Is that the only way at this point? Consider ideas of beauty, standards, conformity, hierarchy, and relationship to capitalism, white supremacy, ableism, ageism, racism, and queer and transphobia. So, of course, capitalism in here, right? So they're literally teaching children to be communists. Like, they have taken over every institution, and whatever institution it is, in this case, it's education, whatever institution it is, it's no longer about its original purpose, right? Like, educating children so that they can function in a modern world. It's no longer about that. Now it's about spreading the mind virus, the Marxist, the woke mind virus. Look at images of trees and nature, enjoy, and say why. Connect back to subjectivity and appreciation for variation and diversity. and then connect with ideas about gender and binaries. So let's see. So if they're going to show a picture of a tree, you've got to make sure you get that anti-capitalism in there, and make sure it's not a white supremacist tree, I guess. And it's best if it's a disabled tree, and it's not. And if it's an old tree, make sure that, I don't know. I think with ageism, that's just around making sure that like as many children as possible are castrated for their gender gods. Let's say, make sure it's not a racist tree. And it's best if it's a queer tree, but then maybe there's like a shrub across from it that's transphobic, and that's a learning opportunity. This is actually insane. I mean, this is now just about propaganda, right? This is about indoctrinating children at this point. Nothing else. There's nothing in this that's about just functioning. Like, I don't know, like being good at like being able to like count change, for instance, right? There's nothing of any value in this. Watch clouds moving and fluidity. Watch clouds moving and fluid. So this is teachers that wrote this? Yikes. Look at or access knowledge about life cycles of trees, plants, animals. Question discussion. Does anything stay the same over time? Say why you think so. Does anything stay the same over time? Maybe you are born in the wrong body. This is just so gross. It's just insanity. How is this? How did we fall asleep for so long to let these people take over? Lesson 1, to study queerness and white supremacy, kids should watch clouds transform because people are like clouds. It's just a level of insanity that's, I mean, this is beyond description. This is alternate reality. How does this happen? It's just beyond belief that this is happening right now. I was just talking to a friend who said it's in British Columbia at the local public school. They don't use any gendered language now. They don't say he, her. It's all they, them bullshit in the public school. I mean, they're teaching the children bad English, like bad grammar for political reasons. Again, when I say that they're not trying to fit their ideology into the world, they're trying to fit the world into their ideology, and they're happy to break the world in the process. This is what I'm talking about. They are not preparing children to succeed in the world. They're preparing them to be communist revolutionaries and not know what they are. This is madness. This is, I mean, to me, honestly, I think it's criminal, actually. What's this one here? Lesson 2, do not say birds and bees, which is a dog whistle for white supremacy and colonization. You can't make this up. Oh, boy. Colonization and white supremacy culture have worked in opposition to nature. What does this mean? This doesn't mean anything. This is gibberish. In land theft, anti-indigenous racism, resource exploitation, and seeing nature as objects from which to profit, this is just communism. These are just communists. As well, colonization has offered a pseudoscience narrative of binary gender. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Pseudoscience narrative of binary gender. A pseudoscience narrative that humans, which are a sexually reproducing species, which have let me start over again. It's just so infuriating, I can't think. Okay, so it's pseudoscience to say that the sexually reproducing species, humans, have a gender binary. They're saying that is pseudoscience, not the weird redefinition of the word gender into an infinite series of abstractions like non-binary, right? The idea of non-binary doesn't exist in the real world, not for humans, right? It's just an abstract idea. It's metaphysics. Okay, that's the pseudoscience. It's beyond belief, as exemplified by the saying birds and bees, to analogize gender and assign sex at birth and assumptions of sexual orientation. These harmful narratives. Reality is harmful, apparently. And ways to talk about gender and sexuality need to be countered with empirical understanding. I thought they were just supposed to be teaching children, like, how to read and, like, do math and, like, function in the world and be, useful to society. Apparently not. Now their job is to teach children to navel gaze constantly about their identity. Apparently, it's just lunacy. How can this be real? Lesson 3 is allyship. Oh my good Lord. What does it mean to be an ally? It means to be a communist, right? And to give up all agency. How can people use their voice, actions, and presence to support 2SLGBTQIA plus classmates and communities? Maybe you should just be teaching them how to function in the world, like read and stuff. How about that? To actually think. This isn't teaching children to think critically. This is propaganda. This is indoctrination. This is brainwashing. I How can I be like a nurse log or pollinator in my community? Pollinator? What's going on? Outdoor connection. Identify species in nature that support or create conditions for others to thrive. Nurse logs, pollinators. I think Canada's lost at this point. Hopefully the children the children will see this and just rebel against it. They'll see how utterly ludicrous it is and rebel against it, because I think your typical 10-year-old is a lot brighter than these teachers, than the people coming up with this stuff. Let's see. People are like plants. Queer people are native plants. Highlight that much like native plants, queer people have always been here. This is no longer about educating. This is about indoctrinating now. Obviously. It is essential to remove invasive species to make space for the native plants to thrive and regenerate natural ecosystems. Hold on a second. Who's the invasive species? This sounds like colonization to me. This just seems like a call to genocide. Actually, so now schools are actually just terrifying. Holy jeez. Let's see. Mammals and birds are very problematic because they reinforce normative concepts of the family. Jesus. How do normative approaches to the study of mammals and birds reinforce normative concepts of the family and gender roles and just reality? How does it reinforce, harmful things like reality? Canada is rushing off the cliff to total disaster and third world status. You can't function like this. You can't pump out a new generation. It's not even universities now. Now it's just great. It starts at kindergarten all the way up. Just creating generations of insane revolutionary lunatics. Like, this can't end well, right? It cannot end well. Holy shit. This is nuts. All right, let's go to the chat for a second. Hold on, let's gotta go a little higher. There we go. Spambot asks, Richie, I wonder if the teachers' unions are trying to make idiocracy into reality. Yes. Well, they're Marxists, clearly. I mean, that thing is just dripping with Marxism. Like, these are people who, they're communists. They are just straight up communists. I mean, maybe some of them don't even realize that what they're doing is communism. It's just Bolshevism. Have a drink. Everybody have a shot. But it is. I mean, it's dripping in it. It's dripping with it. It's just gay race communism. Straight up. Matt Cross says 4 + 4 is 9, Richie. Don't be racist. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be racist. Let's see. What else we got going on? JDL says spelling is transphobic. No, that grammar is definitely transphobic. 100%. Macross says, I have been told I am a pretty good pollinator. Pretty good pollinator. Good for you, Macross. Let's see. Rosie says, trans people cannot regenerate. Well, that is a thing. That is a thing. Well, I mean, I guess trans men, some of them aren't sterilized completely, so some of them can still get pregnant. I don't think it's that many, though. Okay, PG-13, so be careful not to cross the line with pollinator talk, Rosie says. It's like getting a little blue, this stream, with all this pollinator talk and the birds and the bees. Let's see. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? Where were we? Woke teachers. Oh, it's total lunacy. What's going on here? So Canadian immigration. So it's totally messed up. Canada has been the victim of Liberal Party infinite empathy and compassion, and therefore infinite immigration, which continues apace under Mark Carney. The primary investigators in over 20% of Canada border protection files are summer students who have 3 weeks of training and are paid $17.75 an hour. How do you know they're not serious? How do you know they don't care about the well-being of Canadians? This is how. Let's take a look.
Montreal, Vancouver. Students are the primary contact in about 20% of cases. Is that accurate?
I would say the number might be higher, but yes, there are a lot of them. Yes.
There's no way to differentiate between a student generally, unless you have a keen eye, you really know what you're looking for, between a student and a fully trained officer. Is that accurate?
There is no way whatsoever, no.
So you have somebody with 3 weeks training at our border deciding whether someone comes in or out and whether they're a security threat. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, yes.
Does that give you cause for concern?
Some of our best officers began as students when the program started under the SWEP program. They worked along with an officer. They were mentored. It was part of a program to gain experience and see whether this is something you wanted to do as a career. That's kind of morphed into cheap labor where they work independently. They don't work with anyone anymore.
Montreal, Vancouver.
But this is part of the just get in as many people as possible. So you get students in, they don't really care. They're not trained to pick up on the signs of, who might be lying about not being a criminal, for instance, that sort of thing. Just get in as many people as possible. They obviously don't care. The goal is to flood the country with as many people as possible, create an underclass of permanent voters, permanent Liberal voters for the future. That's the goal right there. And they're pretty shameless about it, obviously. I'm not willing to put it to incompetence at this point. I mean, sure, they're incompetent, right? It's been 10 years of utter and total incompetence in Canada, but it's not just that. There's plenty of, malign intent as well. So, I mean, you can't make this up. primary investigators in over 20% of Canada Border Protection files are summer students who have 3 weeks of training. So it started out as a program where they would go in and work with somebody experienced to learn it, to gain the experience, to learn it, and then go in and make a career of it. Now it's just a source of cheap labor, as we have just been informed. I don't chalk it all up to just incompetence. I think it's also intentional. I think it's about jamming as many people into the country as possible. And, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney don't care about Canada. You know, the people, Canada's the first post-national country and doesn't have a core identity. And, you know, there's infinite genocides happening all the time. You know, I know that, you know, for a little bit, they all of a sudden stopped and said, hold on, wait, forget all of that. Now it's elbows up. And if you don't agree with us, you're a traitor and you're not a patriot. I know they tried that for a little bit, but the whole thing, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but it just felt a little bit cynical to me. Let's see. All right. Yeah, and let's not forget as well that that asylum claims are now handled on an app. So you fly into Canada, you pull out your phone and press a couple buttons on an app. You don't talk to anybody, no human interaction, and you're in the country. Let's not forget about that. In fact, let's hear what this guy has to say about it.
So you're saying that a refugee claimant coming to Canada goes to a machine and says, I want to be a refugee in Canada, hits a button and they're in the country? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not a machine, it's an application. So the one-touch system, they're given instructions on how to use that. That connects directly with IRCC, and they're given that documentation to complete on their own once they're in the country. We're not doing that.
So basically, they take out their phone, theoretically, and they tap it a few times, and they are now in the country as a refugee accepted by our country.
Yes, we get some basic data from them, and again, we do the biometrics. Beyond that, they're doing that on their own, yes.
So what's happening, guys?
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. Everything that we've seen is not coincidence. It's not just incompetence. This is knowingly against the interest of Canadians. For, you know, it's not in the interest of Canadians. It's in the interest of somebody else. And I think we know who, right? The Mark Carneys, the Justin Trudeaus. Originally under Trudeau, now the mantle has been taken up by Mark Carney to finish the job that Trudeau started. Oh, beyond lunacy. All right, that's the last tab. We're on the last tab now. Let me just refresh this. Here we go. All right, let's go back to the chat for a second. Maybe I could do one more ad read. That'd be crazy. Ooh, I could do another one. GK Publishing. Let's see. Where's my beloved Westwood One ads? They're not on here anymore. I miss them. I miss those. Let's try a new one. My Gold Guy. Let's try it. Let's go. Okay. All right. If you've been paying attention to the direction this country is headed, you already know our financial system is being intentionally sabotaged. Inflation is not a mistake. It's draining your savings while the political elites consolidate power. Every time Washington prints another mountain of cash, your dollar becomes weaker and your future becomes more vulnerable. This is exactly why you need to go to mygoldguy.com/rumble. I'll repeat it. mygoldguy.com/rumble and get in touch with My Gold Guy. He can be your gold guy. Let's do it, folks. Brand new ad. I think it went very well, actually. I think it went very well as a brand new ad. Never read it before. Beautiful ad, actually. Beautifully written. Poetic. I think they might have gotten that Maya Angelou to write that. That's that famous poet lady, right? Maya Angelou. I think they might have had her write that. Or perhaps it was William Blake or Yeats or something. I don't know. But a beautiful, beautiful ad. What are you guys talking about? Macross says, gold guy gone. Beautiful, beautiful, my gold guy, my favorite guy. All right, what are you guys talking about? Getting a new control board installed tomorrow. Nevada is very nice. Beautiful. Everybody loves a new control board. Let's see. Radio Streamer says that borscht is commie soup. I think he's right about that. Barley soup. Why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about soup now? What's that got to do with my show? Let's see. Let's see. I'm sure everybody's fascinated to know that JJ Nevada is having some furnace issues right now. We're all praying for you. Let's see. I don't know what's going on here. Is there anything that has anything? Here's one about cookies. Is there anything that has anything to do about what I've been talking about? My platinum guy. Wonder when we get to hear about my platinum guy. Well, as soon as there's an ad for my platinum guy, I'll read it. Don't you worry about that. I'll read it. Literally anything. I'll read literally anything for 19 cents. Let's see. Now we're talking about fermented bird snacks from Greenland. That's a nice one. Rosie says, my gold guy, nice ad, emphasis on gold, 24 karat ad rate. Well, thank you so much. Very well. Radio Streamer says 8.0 out of 10 needs more commie hate. Well, it can never have enough commie hate for Radio Streamer, obviously, but that one didn't have any at all. It was my first read through. Let's see. More about furnaces. This is what happens in my chat, by the way. As it goes on, as it stretches longer and longer, they just start talking about soup and furnaces and Greenland and stuff. They don't even listen to me anymore. It's sad, actually. Sad. It's sad that it's come to this. Let's see. Spambot had lentil soup earlier. I was hoping. I was waiting to hear some really good news in the chat. I'm not reading update ads. No, absolutely not. I don't care if Microsoft paid me 75 cents to read an ad. I'm still not reading an update ad. Absolutely not. All right. Let's get to the last tab. Here we go. We're 2 hours and 44 minutes in, people. And it's time that we saw a baby swan be rescued under the watch of a suspicious parent.
And protect your baby. Don't get up.
Oh, hold on. Let's do this again. Here we go.
Do that. Don't be silly. Stop it. Stop it. Because it really hurts. They're such protective parents. They're so good. All right, good boy. Go on. Come on. Come on. Get your ring out as well. Go on. Come on. Yeah, I know. I know. Come on. You're nearly back through. Come on. All right, the fella. Stay there, fella. Stay there, fella. Come on then. Come on. Look. Here you are. Look. Good boy. All right. Come on. Come on. He's coming with you. Come on. He's coming with you. Come on. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. Come on. Come on. There he is. Look. Go on. Go on. Here's a good boy. Go and protect your baby. Don't go at me. I've just let him out. Go on.
See, the thing is that like those things will try and mess you up, right? They're pretty brave. So it knew something was going on. I wasn't totally sure, but it was like, I think, is that human trying to help my kid? I think that's what was going on there, you know? Now, obviously, that was not a communist who helped out that swan, because if it was a communist, they would have eaten both the baby swan and the adult swan and all the other ones, because they'd be starving. So that would be normal for them. And then maybe if they had any left over, they'd sell it on the black market. So there'd just be no swans, basically, if they were communists. So that's how you know he wasn't a dirty, filthy commie. He was a good person. Let's see. So what's going on here? Dr. Jebra Fauché, would you consider this to be retarded? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this retarded? I can't play the sound. Hold on. Turn that off. You don't need it, really. It's more effective without it. So, retarded or not retarded? What do you think? Now, I wonder if they're just kidding around or if they're serious. Now, she looks pretty serious about it. She's taking it seriously. So, I think that this isn't this called hobby horsing? Right? And there was kind of like a resurgence of this sort of thing with like Harry Potter and the Quidditch. There's actually like a Quidditch league where they have broomsticks and they run around like this. In fact, fact check. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So they had to change the name. This is the Harry Potter thing with the broomsticks, as you can see, but they had to change the name because apparently J.K. Rowling is like a far right Nazi or something now, because she like believes that, you know, men can't be women. So they had to change the name of the Quidditch League to Major League Quadball. Which I find very amusing. What's this? Yeah, here we go. Quidditch leagues to change name, citing J.K. Rowling's anti-trans positions. I find it so hilarious. Like, it's a thing out of the Harry Potter books, and then they had to change the name of what it is in the Harry Potter books because the author is no longer politically correct. But they all got into this because they were Harry Potter fans. So, and it's still broomsticks. It's still broomsticks. It's Harry Potter.
Brooms up! U.S. with a quaffle moving up. Sergeant Keeper, that's a goal!
Quidditch was a fictitious sport in the Harry Potter books. Originally is played on brooms flying high through the air.
I love the whole broom side of it. It's what makes it different from other sports.
I feel more comfortable running with a broom now than I do without one. It involves a lot of magic, so we had to adapt it to reality.
Yeah.
And the real version is often called Muggle.
Yeah, he feels more comfortable running around with a broom between his legs, pretending he's flying, playing a magical game from some children's books. He feels more comfortable doing that now, as anybody would.
Quidditch, because in the Harry Potter books, a Muggle's a non-magical person.
And puts it in. Score now 40-20.
As much as this has become a serious sport, it still did come from Harry Potter, and the Olympics are now in England, and Harry Potter is from England.
As much as this is now a serious sport, I repeat, a serious sport.
A good time and a good place to show the world this new sport.
Nice buzzer shot.
I think a lot of people discount Quidditch because they say, you know, it's just a bunch of nerds flying around on broomsticks, but it's really an extremely athletic sport.
Great pass off, and that's another goal.
If the Olympics are striving to create an atmosphere of, you know, athletes and...
They're running around with broomsticks, pretending that they're flying. I mean... Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I just gave myself a cramp from laughing at this too hard. Oh, okay, hold on. The question, would you consider this to be retarded? I think it's all retarded, yes. I think this is retarded. It's basically the same thing as a Major League Quadball. Yes, it's all retarded. 100% retarded. Oh. I mean, I guess at least they're not playing video games. I will say that they're not playing video games, but in this case, maybe video games are preferable, actually. What are you guys saying? Well, thank you, Freedom Butterfly. I can't repeat that. I can't repeat that. Let's see. Let's see. We're getting to the Dolphins. Don't worry about that, people. We're getting there. McCross says, I want to ride. Are you retarded? Let's see. Nevada says too much time on their hands. Rosie says it would be even better if they wore tap shoes and could be making more horse-like noises as they gallop. That actually, you know what? That actually is a stroke of genius there. You should be making tap dance shoes for it's called hobby horsing, isn't it? It's something like that. The stroke of genius, Rosie. Get on Etsy right now. Get those shoes out. They need them. Izzy says, I don't even understand this. Maybe you guys can help me out. Izzy says, need to be vibrating broomsticks to be Harry Potter. I don't even understand that one. That don't make a lick of sense to me. Trudeau Survivor says, I wonder who those women riding hobby horses voted for. I don't know. They look maybe too young to vote, unfortunately. They'll grow out of it. Let's see. McCross says they voted for Mr. Ed. McCross wins at Chat of the Night. That's Chat of the Night right there. They voted Mr. Ed. That's a good one. Let's see. Well, let's see. A radio streamer says it's a very gay sport. Are we talking about Major League Quad Ball now? Blender World, how you doing? Those brooms will fit somewhere else. It'll free up both hands. Armpits, is that what you're talking about? Let's see. Macross, oh dear. If the other team is scoreless, is it a clean sweep? A clean sweep, oh dear. No, I've changed my mind. I love it. JDL says, decadence of the West. Well, it don't make us look good. It doesn't make us look like we're sending our best. Let's see. All right, hold on. McCross says, I will be their coconut squire. I was just watching a clip from Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the coconuts. That's a stroke of genius. How you doing, Plunder World? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Richie, Harry Potter. Well, he said Harry Potter with an I. I think it was intentional. Macross says, hey, they can't all be hits. I said I changed my mind on it. I approved now. Approved. All right. And now you guys are talking about splinters, and I don't even want to go there. All right, let's move on. I got to drag this out of the gutter. Let's see. Jack Russell retrieves a ball stuck on a tree for his brother. Never give up. Well, this is nice. Oh. Oh, no, now he's stuck. Why is that so awesome? Like, why is that such an awesome thing? I don't know why. I love that. This is a palate cleanser if there ever was one. After all of that, the weirdness of the modern world, it's just nice to see something just pure and good and decent. Let's see. Nebulize, how you doing? I'm from Canada, and yes, our government is trying to destroy whomever they can't control. They are doing a great job of controlling the mainstream news, but eyes are starting to open. It is true. It is true. I think Canada feels like a globalist test case right now, right? Like we had Justin Trudeau, very, very connected with the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab bragged about how he had penetrated half of Trudeau's cabinet. I think he might have penetrated Trudeau himself personally. And then Mark Carney, of course, he was on the board of the World Economic Forum. You all completely in with the UN. Knee deep, neck deep in the UN, the global net zero banking alliance, GFANs, all of that. Canada just feels like a laboratory, like a globalist laboratory, a net zero laboratory at this point. And yes, it does seem very much. I mean, this flies under the radar, but in terms of legislation, Mark Carney has put more energy into censorship bills, into controlling the internet and hate bills and hate symbols than anything else. This legislatively, that seems to be Mark Carney's, that seems to be his primary goal right now. Of course, with media compliance, right? So yeah, I agree with Nebulize there. Izzy says that's got to be AI. I don't think it is. Let's take a look underneath. Usually there will be a note that says it's AI. I don't think that it is. I think it's real. I think that's just an awesome little dog. No, that's definitely real. That's definitely real. You can tell. You can tell that's not fake. Freedom Butterfly says, so cute. That's why I show it. This is a palate cleanser. I'm not reading that, Macross. Oh, let's see. Radio Streamer says, we will drag you into the gutter, Richie. Looks into a storm drain. They all have updates down here, Richie. Updates and splinter jokes. Oh my God. Radio Streamer is it from the movie It. But in my chat, this is horrifying. This was not my intention to create this. I wanted something beautiful. Not this. Not this. All right. Next. We're almost at the end. Let's see. What do we got? So, meanwhile, in Russia, we've seen this one before. This is not AI. I remember this from before all the AI stuff came out. This is not AI. This is real. This is from years ago. But this is just a normal day in Russia. They all have a pet bear, right? And I'm sure occasionally some of them get eaten. But yeah, this is just normal Russian culture. They've all got a bear that hangs around. And again, I know this is not AI because I remember this from years ago, before all the AI stuff started coming out. This looks insane and weird, but it's Russia. So that's the explanation. In fact, we'll check underneath. It's not AI. Let's see. What else we got? Hold on. So there's the Russia. What's going on here? From the National Roast. Breaking today, PM Mark Carney is making a rare and brief stop in Ottawa to refuel his jet. Where will he travel to next? Well, he'd rather be anywhere but Parliament, that's for sure. November 24th, 2025, brief stop in Ottawa. How exciting. Where in the world is Carney Santiago? This is a good one. Where in the world is Carney Santiago? Well, I think he's flying to Bermuda to double our sales of our exports of maple syrup to $37. Who cares? Mark Carney says. Who cares? Mark Carney says. He doesn't want us to care anymore. Just stop caring. Everybody become apathetic. And that was the slip for Carney there. She's like, why aren't you being apathetic yet? Why are you not caring yet? Don't you see it's hopeless? Haven't I proven everything is hopeless? You can just stop trying. So what's going on here? Let's see.
I'm just recording in case it breaks. And oh my god! Oh my god! I saw this.
Everybody lived, but it does now that I'm seeing this is another opportunity for jokes about the splinters. So, yeah. Anyway, one of you guys sent this in, so don't blame me. Blame yourselves. You did this. Let's see. Thug ramifications. I think I'll save this one for the. I think we're going to save that one for the premium stream on Monday coming up. Antidepressant content. Okay. The kitten just realized that all dogs are scared of him.
It's on the bind. No, stop winding him up. He's got zero fear. Oh, Jeff. Oh. Oh, tired.
That is hilarious. This is why dogs are the best animals in the world, right? You know how I feel about polar bears. I think they should be eradicated. And dolphins, you know how I feel about dolphins. But dogs are they're the best animals. And if there's any animal that we should keep around, in the future, it's dogs for sure. Let's see. Well, cows as well, because they're delicious, and also pigs. Unfortunately awful. I don't know if this is AI. I wanted to ask you guys. It doesn't say anything underneath. There's no community note. What's this say on top? LeLaySentientes.org. So that's probably an AI company. LeSentientes. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's fact check it. Okay. Hold on. Fact check. LeSentientes. Is that a .org or a .com? Hold on. .org. Okay. LeSentientes. Oh. Sentientes. Sentientes.org. Okay. .org. Let's take a look. Translate. Okay, what's this? So what is this? Oh, okay, hold on. I thought that might have been like an AI app or something, but no, apparently it's a movement for animal rights dedicated to raising awareness through education, politics, and communication, and calling on humanity to be the guardians of the animal kingdom. Well, maybe this feels like AI to me, this one, but let's take a look. Oh my God. Oh, no, you can't have that. Maybe it's not. Ooh, that's close. So somebody tied the dog to the tracks. That's evil. You know what? I don't think that this is AI. I think that's real. There's a very brave guy there. Wow. Yeah. I think this is real. Let's take a look. If the rescue is on camera, so should the original heinous act. Real hero. Yeah, nobody's saying AI in this. I think it's real. I think that we can say. You're right. It's fact. Yep. I think we can say that. All right, let's move on. Rothmus. My 5-year-old, can we get a tiger? Me, what? No. What would we feed it? My 5-year-old, filthy commies. Me, my 5-year-old, me, I'll think about it. A tiger's got to eat. All right, so we can't do this once on the premium stream because it's just the language that that's required of me to use when I talk about dolphins. We can't do it here. So you're gonna have to come for the premium stream on Monday if you want that one. Just again, I cannot censor myself when I'm talking about dolphins and what a danger they are to the world, to the globe. Let's see. Senator Babbitt, wild scenes in the Senate today. So this is in Australia, the Australian Senate. Senator Hanson tried to introduce her ban the burqa bill, and the Senate refused to let her table it. She then went outside and returned wearing a burqa and took her seat. Well, I guess they're not going to like that at all, are they? See, they don't like it when it's right in their faces. They like to live in places where they're not going to see the things that they support or feel the consequences of the things that they support. So this is actually a very smart move on her part. And it's funny too. What do we got going on here? The moment when we've already seen this one. I think that's it. Let's see. How about this from Bill Maher? Let's check this one out. Okay, so Donna Brazil, she's the one who gave Hillary Clinton the questions at the Democratic debate when she was during the primary when she was debating Bernie Sanders, Donna Brazil. So she's that person. She's on Bill Maher, and Bill Maher is going to tell her that she's living in a bubble. I've seen Bill Maher actually say this to a couple of Democrats, people he's had on his show recently. Patton Oswalt was one. Let's take a look.
I really do feel like the Democratic Party, this has been their portfolio for a long time, education.
Right.
Okay. So I feel like if they're going to get back in office, they have to own this issue a little. Because a lot of the states that are doing better now are like the southern states.
Really? Which one?
Mississippi.
Mississippi's getting better than Louisiana?
See, you're in a bubble.
I'm in a bubble.
You didn't get that story.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad Mississippi's doing better, and I hope Alabama. But look, I don't believe that this is a Democrat or a Republican problem. This is a whole of society.
I really do feel like the Democratic Party, this has been their portfolio for a long time.
He's been going after them a lot. I mean, he's not as Trump deranged since, I'm not even sure that he's Trump deranged at all anymore. Certainly not entirely after he went and had dinner with Trump. He said a lot of very fair things about Trump since then. He still doesn't like him, but I don't think it's fair to classify it as Trump derangement anymore at this point. Of course, these people are totally Trump deranged, right? And I think that actually sitting down and meeting Trump, and what he said was afterwards was that, there's the public Trump, and then there's the private Trump, and they're two totally different guys. Trump is not crazy. He's actually like self-deprecating, and he's willing to listen, and he's interested, and he's a different person than the public face of the politician Donald Trump. And I think it shattered a lot of illusions for him and made him start questioning a lot of things, and then in turn questioning a lot of the people that he would have agreed with, or at least agreed with some of the things and some of the extreme things they believe. It's made him start to really question the foundations of his politics to some extent, or maybe more precisely, start to separate what's not the actual foundations of his politics and what is just a bunch of far left lunacy, woke lunacy. But anyway, let's continue. What do we got here? We already saw that. Here is Bill Maher again. Bill Maher tells Democrats to get a life and stop obsessing over Trump's ballroom. So, and we've been seeing more of this since Trump actually went and met Donald Trump and actually was able to have a conversation with him and recognize that there's two Trumps. There's a private Trump and the public Trump. They're not the same thing. Let's see.
I see so many people are upset about him building a ballroom. I could give a fuck. I don't give a shit about his
because
fucking
we're paying
ball.
for it, whether you voted for him or not.
No, we're not paying for it. It's private. First of all, even if we did,
It's already bulldozed. So anytime you spend burning up about it, it's already happened. You have to decide what are you going to do in response to it.
And it's like not the thing I want to concentrate on. There
Okay,
are so
that's the
many
point.
bigger things
That's the point.
that are consequential that I don't like him doing. And they tried to gin everybody up about, well, they're knocking down the White House. They've changed the White House before. And the White House does actually need a ballroom. We're a big country. We were having state dinners and people were like under a tent. I've had better parties than that. I see so many people are upset about him building a ballroom.
This is what recovering from Trump derangement syndrome looks like. And there was a question, it was questionable for a while. Is there any recovering? Is there any recovering from TDS? And this is what it looks like. I think it's rare, but it does happen. And this is what it looks like. And this was the result of Bill Maher going to the White House and meeting Trump and having dinner with him and actually sitting down and talking to him and realize, oh, Trump's not crazy. He's not an idiot, right? He's got a different public face. But no, this is actually a smart guy who's actually curious and interested, and he's not what I thought. And Bill Maher actually said afterwards, he said, I want the guy that I had dinner with. I don't want the guy that's in front of the cameras. So if you've noticed him being, more fair towards Trump, I mean, he was always, for a long time, he's been mocking the worst excesses of the left. And realizing that these people aren't liberals, not traditional liberals like Bill Maher has always seen himself as. These are something else, right? They're not liberals, though. So it's not just him doing that. He still was Trump deranged while he was doing that. Now he seems to be recovering from the TDS. And will he make a full recovery? I don't know. But we can all hope and pray. Hold on a sec. Let's see. There we go. What else do we got? Do I have anything else, or is that it? We're 3 hours and 13 minutes on a Tuesday night, folks. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, yeah, we saw this stuff. That's all done. All right. This one is funny. I just want to see this one again. I can't play the sound. But let's see. Man inventing the wheel. No, it's a stripper pole. I don't know what this is from, but it's brilliant. It's maybe the best thing that's ever been done. Perhaps. It really is the best use for that. All right. Let's get to the chat, then we're going to get out of here. Let's see. Everybody like the stream. Everybody subscribe. Become a channel member. You can watch our beautiful and inspirational and educational premium streams on Rumble if you do so. I mean, subscribe on, become a channel member on Rumble. Become a channel member on YouTube too. But to get the premium streams are only on Rumble. You gotta become a member over here. That's where all the chat is happening anyway. That's where all the community is. So you just come on over to Rumble. Yeah, you can also gift a membership to somebody else, which is the nicest thing anybody's ever done. Freedom Butterfly. In England, they are doing away with juries except for murder, manslaughter, and assault or something. Yes. I had that racked up. Where is it? I think we accidentally skipped over it. What was this? Trump, my God, Pakistan looks like a shithole. That's London, Mr. President. Yeah, that's the sad state of things. Yes, Tommy, I did have something on that. Sorry, guys, I accidentally skipped over the tab. From Tommy Robinson, juries are to be scrapped in all cases except murder, rape, and manslaughter. David Lammy is to announce. England has had juries dating back 1,200 years. These clowns are led into our institutes in a time of activist judges, and they want judges to decide the fate of the people alone. Well, this is the next step in totalitarianism, right? So just totally arbitrary application of the law. The people just don't get a say. So when Tommy Robinson's at trial, they don't want him getting a jury because, well, there are probably going to be some people who would support him, right? They want that guy making the decision. This is the step towards totalitarianism. This is the step towards that, the Chinese model. And I think it's very transparently so. Except, murder, rape, manslaughter, but this is just the first step, right? Those will also just end up being arbitrarily applied by an activist judge, by a political judge, by a partisan judge, by a regime judge. It's a really handy way to get rid of dissidents, right? Just like they might do in, I don't know, China. So thanks for reminding me of that, by the way. I wanted to get to that. Let's see. What else did we have? Let's see. This is awesome. More and more people appearing in chat. Lurkers, come on down. Say hello. Yes, I've noticed more lurkers joining in. Welcome to the club, people. We're talking about those dogs with a kitten. Macross says they are pissed because it's allowed on the couch. Probably. Let's see. Rosie says the blank screen is my favorite. Lots of blank screen on the Radio Baloney streams. 100%. Oh, here we go. Trudeau Survivor says Snopes reported the dog on train tracks as faked in the editing process. Okay. So not AI, but faked in the editing. All right. And Macross says, truth, I don't see a dog sitting with a train barreling at it. Well, it was tied, but maybe it would have been trying to get away. Yeah. Fake, just like, I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. What is this? Freedom Butterfly says, I saw a video on YouTube called Beyond Facts channel about 14 minutes, all about the ballroom project. Would you like that video, Radio Baloney? No. I would not like the 14-minute video of the ballroom, especially not 3 hours and 18 into this. Maybe we'll look at it someday. I don't know. I'm sure it's a very nice video. Okay, let's see. Izzy says, how to destroy confidence in the justice system. Well, the thing is, once you've got your totalitarian system in place, it doesn't matter. The Chinese, authoritarian regime is not going to get overthrown. Neither is the regime in North Korea. Macross says England going back to inquisitions. Yep. Woke inquisitions. Let's see. All right. Well, that's it. I'm done. I'm done, people. I can't do this anymore. Already done 3 hours and almost 3 hours and 20 minutes. I can't do this anymore. I'm just one man, for God's sakes. I'm just a man. I'm not a god. All right. I want to thank the chat for giving me a cramp from laughing too hard tonight. And without you guys, I would be ranting into a cold and different universe, and it would be depressing. But it's not depressing because you guys are here with all of your weird chat that you do. And often it's quite offensive, and I appreciate that. So thank you very much. If you guys keep showing up, so will I. I will be back, as everybody knows, we'll be back on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Locals on Friday night. at 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time. And we'll be covering lots of weird, crazy news and wokeness and memes and all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing a meme review on Friday too. So I hope to see everybody then. And everybody have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the week. And we'll see you on Friday. Good night, everyone.